Welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined by Algared. Why do you look so tiny, bro? I don't know why. You do.
Because I woke up at some ungodly hour of the morning, like 2 a.m.
Yeah, you sound like I feel, bro. I've been up since, what would it
About
be?
5 minutes ago.
11 p.m.
Oh.
I've been up since. So yeah, my sleep is off as well. Lazy.
Yeah, that happens. Unfortunately, when you reshape your sleeping schedule a little bit for an event, it kind of plays merry hell with everything.
So we were going to be doing the ship stuff, like the give away all the ship things this week, but just due to the fact that I got the extra 2 days that I had to do of videos, and Algared's not feeling too good, we need a bit of a breather. I'm going to kick it down the road to next week. I think we'll be fine with that one, unless I have to kick it again because something happens, but I doubt it. I think we'll be, okay.
Pull that alarm. Hang on.
Yeah, it's fine. So it's been quite an AIE. Me and Algared are usually very burnt out by this point.
But that's that's normal, I think, for any content creator. Sorry, that's normal for any content creator, I think.
I think it changes.
Time zones do, people in different time zones do cop it more.
Well, I think it changes from content too. This is something that came out yesterday because Space was saying he doesn't really cover AIE, right?
Yeah.
But he does cover the absolute crap out of CitizenCon. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a lot harder to cover AIE than it is to cover CitizenCon. So CitizenCon's 2 days. This is like, what was that, 13 days I just went through? Like when it's 2 weeks. So it's noticeably a lot easier. A lot harder, sorry. But
I'll be honest, I didn't notice a difference. We just seemed to transition from CitizenCon into AIE. I don't think we stopped the momentum this year. We just kept it going.
Yeah, we did.
In some ways that was good because it just meant we kept the patterns we had. But the downside was it did have an impact.
So we also hit a few milestones along the way.
We did.
So we hit 14,000, 15,000, 2 million watch hours, and we're now over 600 videos on the channel. We hit all those in the last month.
And we need your help today.
Yeah, we need 7 of you.
We need 7 more subscribers, and we will be at a massive 16K subscribers. That blows my mind.
That's how close we are. So it's just the growth has been absolutely phenomenal in the last month. Absolutely crazy. Very humbling. I've been looking at the things every second day. Algared would say, "Look at this! Look at that! Look at this!" Just like the subscriber count go like it was just it
was really insane. And we've also had the Patreon has also grown a little bit, and that blows my mind as well.
The fact very humbling.
You guys go out of your way to actually support us, not just by watching the channel, subscribing, but financially. that staggers me. It really does. So thank you very much for the support you guys give us, both in watching our channel, subscribing, engaging in the chat. All of that is just absolutely staggering and amazing. So thank you.
Right.
Because you help make our channel what it is.
All right. Just letting you know, guys, that the bot is online, ready to take your questions. So shoot. Wait, there's one that just came through.
Yes. And we can end because there's no questions. Okay.
Show's over. No. That's the weird thing. There's a question right there. I can see it on the screen, but it's not coming through. Weird. No bug with the bot. Maybe it might just take a second to come through. We'll give it a minute.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'll answer it anyway. So Nov-A42 says, question, is Expat an Inforunner or is she a special guest that the AI Manufacture Day episode? So in that instance, she was a special guest, but I did actually invite her afterwards to join us. So yeah, she's having to think about it, and she's not the only person that I've actually invited recently, actually. I've invited a second one, and there's actually 2 more I'm considering. So,
we like to have a large family.
Yeah, like the way things are going too, though. Like it's not going to be. This game is so damn big, you're going to need a family.
Yeah.
Like it's
You
just that
can't.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, you can't cover everything
Mm.
in depth to the way you want just because of
Yeah.
the scope of this game.
And you'll
It's
even
not
look
just.
if you even look at the people we've kind of got, like we've got
Yeah.
a generalist in space. You've got us that kind of cover the ships and the financial stuff. You've got Paul that's got the law nailed down. We're bringing Loken in because he's a younger guy. He really knows the streaming stuff. He's actually knows a lot of game development stuff like myself. Like, so we're bringing in people that know the stuff. You know, expats going out into the cinema stuff. You know, and she's just an absolute sponge. Like ever since she got here, she just wants to absorb everything. And the other people we're looking at are either like-minded or
Yeah.
in some cases completely different, as in they don't agree with us either. So we want to get all those different opinions because that's how you get to the truth. So yeah.
Careful, you're sounding very much like the conspiracy theorist guy, whose name I always forget. Paul always has to remind me. That's the period. The plain truth guy.
Well, that is what it is, though.
Terrell.
Like, we've said this a few times when we talk here on the
Yep.
channel. Like, there are times where you and I get absolutely savage with each other.
Oh, we
right?
do.
But it's for the
Yeah.
truth. And as soon as the truth is found, it's like, well, that's it. You know,
Yeah.
I remembered it wrong, or vice versa. Whoever backs down, and that's just it. Because that's all that is in the correct information. There's just too much information for anyone to hold it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we also have the greater hassle of the what is it, the closeness of our friendship means we also have a greater deal of contempt for each other. What is it? Familiarity breeds contempt.
Well, what's that saying? You hurt the people you love, type of thing too. You know?
Yeah.
Anyone that's kind of close to
So we're savage to each other.
yeah. Like, and we also said that thing during the summer where we both can't stand the heat, drives us mental. I've got the Christmas icons going on the Discord as well. I also updated. I made a new emoji based on my cats. I don't know if you saw that one. You can.
I haven't seen that one. I didn't.
So it's on Discord, it's on YouTube, and it's on Twitch. I also updated all the emojis on YouTube. I added a shit ton more. Like I pretty much doubled them. And I did similar things on the other two that I could do. So I fixed a whole bunch of stuff just because I had some free time earlier tonight. So a bunch of that stuff's got fixed.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's all trying to get back to normal. Right. I think we've got a bunch of questions there.
We do now have a bunch of questions.
And there's going to be a lot of AI-based stuff. And the other thing I do want to point out, Algared, ironically, our normal finishing time for this would be, for me and you, would be 8 a.m. But it also happens to be dead on when AIE finishes. So we're going to be walking essentially across the line to the end of AIE. So if there's anything cool that we want to go over, I think I'll point to the video I did yesterday. And I put it right in the title. The two big things are in the title. Like if I just, hang on, I'm pulling it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm mush, so I've forgotten what it was. But yeah, Polaris $470, Astra for $410.
Yeah. And so if you took all those,
do you know what that means?
All those CCUs,
do you know what that means?
Like cheap.
The cheapest the Polaris has ever been.
Yeah.
In a one day. You remember how it was $520? It's now 50 cheaper again.
And that's like, I know we were talking when they first put out the CCUs and they were breaking them up into the daily releases. We were thinking, oh man, they're screwed CCUs.
And it does go cheap if you happen to buy a couple. There was 2 other CCUs that you needed, but if you happen to buy those on the subsequent days, it goes even further. I think it goes down to like 430. It's like $35 cheaper. It's nuts.
And I think the key thing though is you've got to take that gamble on those.
And that's it's so hard. It's so hard to say which one, because they're doing it blind.
Yep. So, and I think the only way you can really look at it, go, okay, you start building a chain and go, okay, this works in the chain. And yeah, there's a gap there, and I might get something, and not fill in the credits and just hope that you get something better that fills in over the days, and then fill in the.
Yeah, if you can get those, so let's look at it this way. It was $35 saving additional to what I was talking about. But if you brought all the CCUs, it probably would have cost you $35,
Yeah.
right? Now, the other way you can look at it is, and that's just credit you turn back into to join other stuff. So if you're cool with that, that's fine. But if you don't want that additional money, it's a pain in the ass. So, yeah, it's difficult. And I'm going to be honest with you, you are better to go. Well, you tell me if you think I'm wrong here. If you're going to double down, go on those ships that are like $200 plus, because like is in the ship itself, because that's where the bigger savings are. The bigger you go up, the bigger the savings come. But there were some really good ones in there too. Like the there was one lower down that saved like $25, and that's the most I'd seen under that bracket ever. Go ahead.
I did also see that we'd actually made an error. We started using the one of the newer ships as our start token, and we probably should have been using the Scout, the Cutter Scout as that LTI beginner token, because it was lower.
Yeah, it was lower, but I don't think there was any CCs there anyway.
No.
But and that's why I didn't worry about it. So yes, you could have saved a little bit of extra cash. That's true. But I was trying to make it as simple for people as possible. And the other thing is, most people coming into the game, they needed a package. So when I build those guides, as you know, I build them for new people. I don't build them to the old people, because the old people know what they're doing. And as you've just rightly pointed out, they can correct it, right? But a new person can't do that, right? So I build it around the fact that they can just build one package, get one ship, and upgrade it to where they want to go, right? And that means it's just, I don't want them to buy a heap of ships. I just want them to buy them the one. And I think that's what we should be kind of, we don't want to endorse people buying heaps of ships. There's already too many ships as far as I'm concerned. Owned, I mean, right? Because realistically, we're going to earn these all in game. You know, and when you take that all back, I do not know who is messaging me, but my thing is beeping like crazy.
Oh, so while we're doing that, I'll go back and, oh, holy hell.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm going to start going through some of these questions because we've got a spam load. Okay, so Shempester, what do you think about the Warbond CCUs this year? Well, I think we were just discussing those.
Yeah.
So we initially, I think it's fair to say, we initially thought.
We thought it was going to kill it, yeah. We were really worried, especially when there was just 4 there on that final day. And then when we looked at what they were and merged them with the best in show ones, that's where it started to turn around. We're like, oh, wait, this is actually not that bad. And then it just got better and better each day, essentially.
And then seeing the extras come in the following days, you went, okay, yeah, it's making it, there's certainly some good value there, but you've got to plan. It's not just a matter of going there and going, I'm getting it. You've got to go, okay, and you've got to be a bit more strategic, and that's the hard part. It's
also really hard for me because I am cooked, right? I have to go to other people and ask their opinions and stuff like that, or you know, like a lot of the CC helpers and stuff like that. I go get help from, because my brain, like I have to like I want it triple checked that I haven't fucked up, and there'll just be little like in the video where I missed one of the little price things. That happened again. And I missed it again, and then someone else found it, but it was after I recorded it, so I just changed it in the description, and it didn't really. Instead of it, I think it was one of the instead of costing $5, it saved or something like that. It was like $5 off, and it didn't really matter to the outcome. Man, I would love to know who's messaging me. I can hear Discord going off, but I'm not getting any of the notifications.
So, Cheesebread also has a question. Query. Is it a good day for fishing? It's always a good day for fishing. You should know that.
Right. Next one. No, I'm not a fisherman. My uncle's the fisherman in my family. So yeah.
You don't get the reference.
No, I don't get the reference. I know you've asked it a few times, but it must be some.
Viva Dirt League has a thing called Epic NPC Man, and one of the NPCs in that goes around and really nice day for fishing, ain't it? And so that's just the line. I usually greet everyone for that line when I go onto the YouTube chat. They're asking, is it a good day for fishing? It's always a good day for fishing. And thank you for that comment. That was just a couple of people thanking us for the content we do.
There was a lot of thanks on a lot of the videos. Again, very humbling, to be honest with you.
It
It is the reason we do it, though.
No.
And
Well, the reason we do it is not because it's humbling.
well, no, the reason we do it is to help. Sorry, yeah, cooked
Yeah.
again. But you know, just seeing the savings that people saved, and then putting in things like, you know, I got this on this and that on this,
Yep.
and you quickly do the math and go, well, that's like 40% of what it should be. That's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
So
And it, like I saw some people in discussion saying, you know, how do we feel about people getting all these discounts and the prices being lower than they were, you know, being able to get the prices lower than they were at concept.
mm,
And I'll be honest, I don't actually feel that. I've just realised my lighting is not on.
mm,
And they'd be like, bright light, bright light.
Mm.
But I'm always happy to see people get that saving. But I'm also a bit jelly. I'm also jealous.
mm.
Not in a bad way, not in that green-eyed monster method, but the fact that they were able to get, you know, they've been able to get it for cheaper. But it takes time. You know, you can either go out and just get the instant gratification, or you can do delayed gratification and get, you know, and get a bigger saving. And I think it balances out in that sense. It's a bit like, you know, pay to avoid the grind, or go through the grind, and you know, just both ways. I think it's fine. So, and as someone who pretty much buys everything,
Just let me know in chat if you can actually hear that Discord noise going off, or is it just me? Because if it's just me, that's fine. But if you guys can actually hear Discord going off, let me know.
yeah,
Because I'm
I
worried.
can't hear it.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
bonus.
Well, you're only seeing the screen, so you shouldn't be able to hear things anyway, but they might be hearing it.
Yep.
So if you're hearing it, guys, please let me know, and I'll figure out what the hell's causing it. I don't know who's messaging me.
Just muted. Nova 42 has a question. Any chance of a Storm reconcept that shrinks it to a more reasonable size and or moves the driver entrance? I would love it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, kind of. We talked about this on Space's podcast yesterday,
Yeah.
Citizen Talk, and like I said to them then, like, they're really not working on Star Citizen. They'll just come back around eventually, and yeah.
It would have to be a significant... I think if you look at it in terms of not just a reconcept, but a redesign, it'd have to be a really bad error.
I know what it is.
Go for a redesign of it.
Fucking Zyron. I figured out who it is. So I've got the Star Citizen. I've got to mute that server. Hang on. Just until I turn it back on. That's what it is. It's Zyron in the content creator Discord. He's just posting all these messages. That should have fixed it. Right.
So yeah. So but because they've already got a concept, because they've got the ideas there, because it's probably, I think it's already gone in white box at least at some point, it would have to be a significant problems with that for them to go, let's redesign it.
But okay. Sorry, I remember what we were talking about. But they will do that. If they have to radically change something, they will. Because literally, Star Citizen at the moment is just a pretty distraction while they work on Squadron 42. Right, and if they come back around, they're doing these things that are cool. They're doing cool vehicles and all that you know, they know people are going to be interested in, and then they're going to make them work later. You can come back and you know, you give a rough overview design of basically how something is going to work, and then you balance it all later. That's what they're going to do. And you've seen in games before,
rather than redesigning that ship or that vehicle.
That would be the last.
Vehicle and make a new one.
That would be the last, you know, last straw to redo it. But if they've got a you know, it's modular yourself. You've seen it. They can essentially take that gun off and just put another one on, and then just delete the old one. They don't need it anymore.
But having, you know, knowing the way we can build that in parts, but changing the size of a ship and changing the entrance of a ship, that's a bigger change than just taking that module top off. So I could see them taking the module top off to change what that tank does.
Yep. It's the same thing with the ships. They can change the size of hard points and things like that to redistribute and balance things. But that core functionality, that's the thing that's hard to do, because you have to redo the whole ship. Yeah, but they do. Yeah. Again, and now so they've got a lot of redundancy in place.
I would say there'd be more. There'd be a greater chance of just redesigning a new tank that was smaller and had the entrance at the back rather than.
It really depends. You can go both ways.
And it could go, it could go both ways. What's our usual frame?
Never say never. Yeah, but again, if it was specifically a problem with that thing and it was like essentially dead on arrival, right? they can go back and change everything.
Yep.
It's like you and I said, like it would have been really cool if it actually had like a lightning gun on it. Well, they can do that. They can just add a third version, or they can remove the other version and add this one. You know, it's all before release. Everything's subject to change. It literally is on the website under every single ship.
Yep.
It's just that they haven't really started doing that because they're not really working on Star Citizen.
Yep.
And that's the thing that I think surprises a lot of people. They honestly think it's been 10 years working on, and that's 10 years worth of work. That's why things like the napkin math, like it's going to take 35 years to do all the ships. It's, you know, we've got one system in 10 years. Like, it's just people that don't understand game development. And let's be honest, most of that doesn't come from inside our community because we're all informed. It's the outsiders that basically make this bullshit.
And so many people just see, who are just looking in, just see Stanton and go, oh, they've only got one system.
Yeah.
But Stanton is, you look at Stanton compared to, say, Elite. And this is not bagging out Elite, but Elite's got, and even No Man's Sky, you've got these massive, massive systems you can go to.
Yep.
But they just feel same-o, or the depth doesn't seem to be there. Whereas Stanton seems to have lots of depth and lots of nuance and lots of differences. And
so
also got a lot less systems.
So Death Messenger, we didn't miss your question. In fact, it's next on the list.
That's right.
The way out. So we have a bot that pulls all the questions out, and we just go through them in order. That allows us to do it at the speed we want to do it at. It's not hectic, and we get every question done in detail. So it's very different from every other stream that you will see.
Yep. And that's why we also have our radio talk show style, so we can just go bounce ideas backwards and forwards and go all over the shop. So Death Messenger has a question. Will there be ship combat while traveling through a jump point?
I'd say yes if you're close enough to the other ship, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know at one point they did kind of hint that might be a case.
They even hinted multiple paths at one point too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Within the jump point.
Yeah.
So
different paths you could go through, and but never say never. When it comes, we'll know for certain, and if they say no, then we'll know. But until that time, it's kind of everything's nebulous, and they'll work on it, and they'll see how it goes, and So, Nova, what does it mean to be a InfoRunner?
You go.
100
week bus. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's part of the idea is trying to bring information that's either not as known or just stuff to the community. So now X and I suppose we are the faces of InfoRunners. But then we also try and draw in other people who either we at least get on with. We don't have to agree with us, but people who at least don't drive us to distraction and make us make me rip what little hair I've got left out.
I think we're also a bit there for each other too. Like if one of us needs help, or one of us needs a guest, or you know, that's the small stuff, you know, but also things to bounce things off. Like I talk to Space and Paul, and we have a private chat on our Discord that we all bounce things off in and there. If someone, what do you guys think of this thumbnail? Like every little thing, you just need a bit of feedback. It's essentially a bunch of content creators working together to rise together, I guess you'd call it. What's the saying about the boat? All that Paul says, the all tides rise all boats, or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember how it goes.
All boats rise on the same tide.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So it's just working together. You know, bringing people in, and we've had people come in. Well, look at Space Tomato. Space Tomato community is now bigger than all of us. You know, like it's just what it is. Just working together.
Sometimes we pull people in just because we've seen their content. They've started off. We've seen their content. We say, you know, and we want to help them grow. So we'll do that type of thing. Yeah, it's a bit hard to nail down what actually is an InfoRunner.
No, they're good people. They kind of work well with others, so to speak, I guess. So you have to be willing to work a little bit with others. You've got to be able to have your mind changed. That's one thing I say a lot. There's not a single InfoRunner that hasn't changed my mind, and I'm pretty sure it gets gone the other way. You know, like in search of the truth. Like kind of what we said earlier too, all of us are just trying to find the truth and get to the information, you know. I don't know about Algared specifically, but for me, Algared, I started out just wanting to know more about this game, and it's never stopped. You know, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like I said about Expat before, just an absolute sponge trying
I,
to
but
learn everything about it.
when you said that, I had a chuckle because it was. I know that's what we're like.
Mm,
When I started, delved into every bit of lore I could find. I read everything.
mm,
Every writer's guide article, every
mm,
time capsule, you name it, I did it. You know,
mm. All right, we're
and
gonna,
there's just so much. There's so much to get your head around.
and it's only grown.
And
First
it's only
time,
grown.
first time chatter over there. Cole Sean, who says, "I love the idea of Star Citizen, but I personally have been holding out for a decade not to buy anything until Squadron 42 to play it, to become a citizen and enter Star Citizen." That is very indicative of what we were talking about yesterday,
Yeah,
where we were talking about there are people like this game needed people that were willing to take the plunge, but there's a lot of people that are like
really
money.
on the
There's
wing
a
waiting.
lot of money people. You know how money people want a stable investment and they want a return on their investment, but you got that. None of that will happen if you don't have the people that are willing to gamble and risk it all to explore and find something new and different. And that's why games themselves have become really stagnant, because the people with all the money are the safe people, you know, that want that return on investment. And we won't see a lot of those people until the game is actually out. And not to you know, degrade you, Shan, or anything like that, but that just means there is different peoples that are interested in this game. You know, the people that came before are kind of the
Yep.
gambly and the, you know, or the explorers or willing to take risk, and then you got the people afterward that really want to, you know, all right, I'm paying my money for this game, I know what I'm getting, that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, two different types of
I,
people.
I, like until recently, I would have said, hey, just pick up a starter pack that's got Squadron 42 in it,
Mm,
you know, and that's all you need. Even at the moment, anyone who's getting into Star Citizen and the PU, all you need is a starter pack. You
I'm, st-
don't need to be
I'm
an
still
insane person with every ship.
I'm still baffled after the trailer, Agrid. There are people still calling this a scam. This is the most elaborate scam I've ever bloody seen. Then,
Yep.
you know, like the worlds they had to build to pull this off. Just those two trailers alone. Do you remember how many hours that would take to pull off, even fake? Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's crazy to call that fake. It's
Yeah.
insane.
You know, and then that would also mean dragging people like,
Mm,
you know, Mark Hamill in on the fake as well. And
yeah, yeah.
I've said it lots of times.
Mm,
I knew the Squadron 42 was going to take a long time, and it was going to be detailed because of what
mhm,
I knew of Wing Commander. But doing PAX Australia
mm,
and helping out there and seeing Chris and Sandy
mm,
in private as they worked with the group of helpers and as they engaged with the wider community,
mm,
there was no difference. There
mm,
was no different. What you saw, what you see is just what you get. That they are
mm,
just fair dinkum and true blue. It's just you see the passion
yeah.
and there's no desire or effort to beguile or lead people astray. You know, Chris has told you don't buy any more. Don't buy any more
Yeah.
ships. Just get other people to buy a starter pack. That's all you
Yeah.
need. Don't. You know, Sandy said stop buying ships. You know, you don't do that if it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the way they
Anyway.
talk are very passionate, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you ever talk to Chris, it comes across really quickly. Like just how he's a nerd or a geek, whatever you want to call it, like
Oh, he's
most
a
of us.
full on nerd.
Yeah. All right.
Full on nerd. But
What's cooking asks, what are your impressions of the engineering gameplay from the recent releases? Margaret, I'll let you take that one.
from what I can gather of the engineering gameplay that's coming, it's going to be you're going to want if you're on a multi-cruise ship, you're going to want an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and your engineer who knows his stuff is going to be worth gold.
Are you
Probably.
surprised by it, or do you think it's
No.
really just like what we've been told all along? But
Yeah, I think it's just what they've
it's
told
what they've
all
told
along.
us all before. It's just like, oh, they told us about that. Now it's coming to fruition. And now all these people that just haven't been around when the design documents came back all that time ago, to them it's surprising. But to old hats like me and Algared, it's what they promised. And the amount of things they've promised that have really come to pass or are coming to pass is only escalating and speeding up here.
Yeah, I always find it like people find that, the regeneration machines as being this new, breaking the game or breaking the way they were going to do this and Death of a Spaceman. No, it actually was built in to actually make sense of that idea of Death of a Spaceman, where you have so many lives or so many near-death experiences before you had to recreate your character. And the regen system, even the regen system as they put out, says eventually you'll get to the point where there's so much trauma that you actually can't regen. That doesn't change anything they said early on about Death of a Spaceman. It's just the mechanic is been fleshed out a little bit more,
right,
to work.
Hulk7110 says, "What are both of your hopes for Star Citizen for this time next year?"
Squadron 42. That would be my ideal dream.
Yeah, I think we'll see that come to pass. And I don't disagree with Algared on that at all. I guess probably, hopefully, we can get to CitizenCon. At least one of us. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that. I think next year is going to be a really big year for the game. And let's be honest, Algared, every year's been pretty well, other than COVID, has been bigger than the year before. Especially when it comes to CitizenCon and stuff like that, has always just grown and grown and grown.
Yeah, indeed. And I can understand, like, people say, even this year, people are saying, the game's going bad, the sales aren't as big as they were last year. And you go, yeah, but they don't need to be. They don't need to be massively exorbitant income. As long as they're paying the bills, as long as they're able to keep things rolling, it doesn't matter. And I see you're getting ready for the next question.
Yes,
the next question was from Chris, which was, is the Galaxy getting a base building module? And basically, we know it's got 3 modules to start with. It's got cargo, medbay, and refinery. But then they also say others are coming, manufacturing and other modules. And manufacturing, we think, is certainly that ties into that base building end. So I would say yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow, I'm big.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Massive.
I did it while you're sitting back, remember? And then you fucking lean forward and it destroys everything. All right, hang on.
I'm sorry.
I'll make it the same size.
That scared me.
Maybe I should just get back to you and make you like this. There we go, right. You just this. Yeah.
Yes. Now it's making, yeah.
I'll make it the same size. All right. There we go. Roughly the same. There we go. Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better now.
So you pretty much just told them, yeah, that manufacturing module is, or manufacturing now known as base building, essentially, yeah? Yep.
So that's what we're expecting. So yeah.
A lot of people were surprised by that. We were not surprised at all because they started calling it manufacturing about 6 months after the Pioneer came out. And it's never changed. I think the only thing I'd add to that is what we learned at CitizenCon was fabrication was a thing too. So manufacturing, like exploration and a lot of the other professions, are splitting to different parts. So you've got surveying, which is the kind of the actual base building part. And then you've got fabrication, which is like making things that go on the inside, and probably they mentioned ships and things like that as well. So yeah, right.
Yeah, that did. The fact that fabrication was now being put in, I think that was probably the newest thing they got that kind of threw us. We knew there would always be some form of fabrication, like making bits and pieces to part. But being able to actually build or eventually get to the shipbuilding stage, that for me was one of the new bits of information. But it made sense. Like, if you're going to the point of building bases or building outposts, then why can't I build part for that vehicle or repair that vehicle or even build the wing of that vehicle rather than, or that ship? So
right.
Anthony R has a question. They say, next year looks like the year of capital ship releases. Do you find any gameplay additions that are currently not in game that need to be for this release?
I wouldn't say it's capital ship next year. I just think they're starting to spin up the ship teams, and we're going to see some of the bigger ships come out. But it's not like we're going to get 5 of them in one hit. Like, we'll get one and, maybe another, and eventually it will speed up. But they've got to fill out those ship teams. Like, they showed that at CitizenCon. What was it, 28 people?
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
want to build those really big things, you're going to probably need 5 people on each big ship. You know, they're probably going to, I don't know, you could tell me, Agro, they'd probably spin up to close to 60 people to pump those out at relative speed for the
yeah,
big ones.
and I think one of the things, like, I think why we might get ship year is because as they transition to that build the ships by family,
Hmm.
you focus on a manufacturer, and you do the 3 ships or the 4 ships that have the same design language and the same shape. So you look at Polaris, Perseus, and Galaxy,
Mm.
which are the 3 ships that they talked about with RSI they'd work on. They've all
Mhm.
got a very similar shape and a very similar, the manufacturer shape is unique. Whereas if it was, say, Polaris and a rework of a Connie, they're different design language in terms of the shape and the look. You'd have internals that might be the same, but there's less shared parts that you'd have. So
Yep.
I can see that working to help build ships out as well.
Try to figure out how I'm going to answer this question that's coming up. But yeah, go on to the next one, please, Hagrid.
Yep. T-Jack, speaking of needing a family, what are your thoughts on the incoming engineering changes? I think we've already answered that. Do you think they'll have an impact on the buy down push? Lots of people will have hangar queens. I see a lot of people are suggesting that you shouldn't buy big ships at all. But if you're a solo player or a small
Yeah.
group, you should only buy a ship with 1 or 2 people. And I think one of the things we always say is, if you think you want to get into that gameplay of a larger ship, we've always said get the larger ship that you are comfortable with, and then earn down to the smaller ships, because just on the ability to earn up, it takes time. And the classic example I have is the Aurora. It took me a month to earn, I think it was 1.5 million to buy a Cutlass Black and a rock mining vehicle on Just a Tune. And it took me 1 mission to earn 1/5 of that in a Retaliator, which is quicker.
Yeah.
I do think, people say, oh, but you won't have crew. We are going to have AI crew. We know we're going to have AI crew, like NPC crew. We know that we're going to be having blades, which will, automation will be able to take some of the tasks. Any person should be able to run a 3 to 4 person ship with just by themselves using AI. Now, when you come to capital ships, some of those capital ships are deliberately built for orgs. The Javelin is a classic example. It's not a ship you should be expecting to take out with yourself and a few NPCs. It was designed as an org raid ship. You try doing a raid, a 30-person raid in WoW with 1 person, it ain't happening. So it's going to be that type of thing.
Yeah.
If you try it, you're not going to get far.
I like, realistically, earning a bigger ship and down is the way to go. You've only there was so many comments in one of the videos that saying that I was off the mark on the Aristrata, and that it's a way better ship than the Orion. No, that is just not correct. It is a more versatile ship. It'll go around and do things on its own, but you are literally talking about the Orion that is essentially, if you look at it, it's 6 times the size easily. Just based on volume, there is no way that ship can compare.
Yep.
And you got to remember, what is it, 3 to 5 for the Aristrata and 5 to 8 for
Yep.
the but it's 6 times the size. It's this whole argument like the Vulture versus the Reclaimer and stuff like that. It just comes around time and time again. Yes, you can struggle on your own and probably get one done. It'll be a nightmare to do, I have no doubt. But again, as soon as you've got 1 or 2 people on there that can help you and a bit of an AI crew, the amount of money you're making with that thing, you'll be able to buy an Aristrata in a couple of hours, and then you can go out and do that. You're earning all the ships underneath by having a more expensive ship. You've only got to go look at all the other MMOs in existence, and that's pretty much, you can take a level 60 character in WoW and go into a 20 zone and smash everything. It's the same type of analogy. You've just got a much bigger ship that's just capable to pop out so much more profit, because it has to run itself, right? So therefore it needs more profit to keep running. But then you can take that profit and buy something at a smaller scale. It's logical. I don't understand why, some people, yeah, that's their right to disagree with me or disagree with Algared or disagree with Paul or whoever their opinions. That's totally fine. But I can't see why this is a new concept. And that's what I find a little bit strange. It's not a new thing. It's been in every other game for ages, isn't it, Algared?
Yeah, and look, those big ships, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Orion's crew increase again, go from, 8 to 16 or, 5 to 10 at the minimum. But even if it's a large crew, I expect that, a few friends would be able to, with NPCs, would be able to struggle through and get and do missions on that and still earn down to get the ships they want.
Yeah.
Do I think those big ships will be followable by a single person? Probably not. But I don't think it's going to be hard to find friends to actually help you, do that, because I know that working with someone in Orion is going to be a bigger money making effort than working on a mole by myself or working in a prospector by myself. So I think there is that balance. But we're not always saying just buy the Orion. Sometimes we're looking at them and saying, well, the Endeavour and the Crucible, they're just, to us, they're just no-brainers because they're so cheap compared to what you're getting.
We've also said you can go sideways too, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
But we always say go as big as you are comfortable with and then earn down to the other ships. If you're never going to go Orion, but the Strata is your jam, then you get that one and earn down all the other ships you want. It's yeah.
All right, I'm going to try and answer this question. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to try and answer this question. Yeah, you're tired, mate. I picked up on it. I know you too well. I'm going to try and answer this question, but it's going to probably be a little down and dirty. I don't know if I can do this. All right, so this is Photoshop that I've got running in the background. I wonder if I can... Nope, makes it worse. Damn, okay. So I'll just work with what I've got, right? So why won't this... No, it does not want to maximize. It is minimized itself and refuses to maximize.
It loves you.
Ah, there we go. Right. So is that right? Okay, go and just work on the right-hand side. Right. So we'll make this really simple. So the person's question I'm trying to answer here is by Pyrrolilium1043. I've had this asked like a myriad of times since I did that particular video, right? And this is what I'm talking about here is I'll read his question, right? So question, during one of the daily casts, Execute mentioned that for a speculative CCU, you put it into the buyback. I didn't understand why you would need to do that, and could you explain why you would? Yep, and that's what I'm going to explain right now. So, for example, I don't know. I need to find the edge, Algared. So I'm just going to put a blue line. This is so ad hoc, all right, because I don't normally do this, but I need somewhere where I can draw to explain it. So if I go a little bit more across.
Let's probably go there.
Yeah, right. So I'll just draw on that side, right? So basically, if we have, let's just make it black and white because it'll be easier to see, right? So if we have two CCUs going from, so this is that's too thick. Hang on. So this is the lower end, and this is the higher end, right? So money is going up as you go to the higher end, right? If we have a CCU here that say, let's just say for argument's sake, it's $5, right? And then on the other side, we have this CCU that goes to another ship, and this CCU is $50, right? Love my handwriting, by the way, when I'm running with the mouse. It's terrible. Right. But this ship here, we know is going to go up in price. So in the case of the example we had the Apollo, right? And I believe the Apollo is like $250, and it looks like it's going to go up to $275. So that's an increase of $25, right? So just say that cost us $5. Now, all of a sudden, when the ship comes out, this CCU that we purchased for $5, its value, though, is worth $30, right? But this here that is now $30 less is $50, but we paid, but it's only worth $20, right? So if we melt this one here that I'm filling in and buy it back, right, by putting it into buyback. Buyback just gives us access to it, right? So we don't have to do it during a sale, right? We just buy it back and turn it into $20, and then essentially that 30 that was off the 50 is gained. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it without doing a really long method. I hope that answers your question. My drawing sense when I'm doing it with the mouse is terrible.
Yeah, and basically the reason is you're getting rid of, because that blower ship has increased in value, that other CCU is while it's there, but what happens when you're in buyback is the values get updated to what the ship values are, and so that older CCU, that the $50 one, gets impacted by the cost of that Apollo, and so the price comes down. So when you're buying it back,
all right, I'm getting complaints that the white is too bright. I'm sorry, I'll turn it off. Sorry, let me.
Yeah.
No,
I couldn't tell that bright light because I've already got bright lights.
Yeah. We're just blinded already, so
we're already blinded by bright lights. So we don't notice it.
But yeah, I don't draw in Photoshop very often, but I did a similar thing on the pad, and then I realized it's kind of yellow and you're not gonna be able to read it. So I was just like, stuff it. I'll do it in Photoshop. Yeah.
All right, Cheesebread has a question. Given what we know about the Myst Odyssey, how likely is it to scale up or pick up new features beyond concept?
Well, they do say in the modules, didn't they, Algared? They literally say it right there. Manufacturing and other modules.
Odyssey.
Oh, Odyssey. Okay, I'm deaf. Sorry. Odyssey, other features. I think they didn't talk a lot about the features. Let's be honest. But yeah.
Well, given the way it was originally sold, where they talked about the viewing room at the back, they didn't talk about the features at all. I always felt there's just not enough information that they gave us. They said, "Oh, I can do this and this," but they didn't talk about how scanners work or what made it a good survey ship.
What make it well? Even if you chuck it into the exploration vein, what made it a good explorer? They didn't do that either. They didn't actually said what it would be doing. They just called it an explorer and left it vague as that. And it's the same thing with the Aristrata. They didn't say what made it better than the Orion. They didn't say, like, again, you're just kind of imagining because it's this bigger ship, but it's smaller than the Orion, it can go down a planet and the Orion can't. Oh, it must be better. That doesn't mean shit, right? Because you got to think of volume. You got to tell me why I want that ship as well as an Orion, or over an Orion, or over a mole, or over a prospector, because there's negatives and positives to every ship in the game. And the one thing you and I will agree on is almost 9 times out of 10, the hardest thing for me and you to work out is what is the negative thing. They never, like the Zeus, they hid the shit out of what the problem was with the Zeus, right? And it took you and me a couple of hours to figure it out, and it was, there's no base variant, and the thrusters are shit.
And I think when you look at the Odyssey and our ships, the Odyssey, we know what it can do, or what it may do. We know it's an explorer, but then it's got a viewing platform. It's got a hangar. But that doesn't tell me how it's better or a good explorer. It's you then got to flesh that out, and that's always the issue. We don't really know much more. We've since heard it's got a med bay. Well, okay, it's got a med bay. What level med bay? So there's a whole, all those bits and pieces that come in later. So
just for the new people that are joining, if you can't see what the question bot is saying, is you need to put question in your question, and it'll go through to our bot, and it comes into a list. If you're a first-time chatter, I will go out of my way to answer them. But people like, there's a couple of people there that have just added me on Twitch. I will not answer those because it's rude to the other people. But there are two new chatters there. So someone says new Hornet or Arrow still. So I think he's talking about the Mark II Algared or the Arrow. Well, obviously we can't comment because we haven't seen the Mark II, but I'd assume that it's really just a visual upgrade, wouldn't you, Algared, at this point before the game's out? And from what
your guess is as good as mine.
From what I've talked with the PvPers, the Arrow is best for dueling, but for team battles, the Hornet is the best. So that answers your question. If you're into team battles, get one. If you're in the duels, get the other. The other first-time chatter there says, or you can do what I did and have them both the Orion and the new ship. Yeah, you can do that too. You can do whatever you want. We just try to advise you how to spend less money to get more, essentially.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
if you want to
I think
buy
that's part of it.
everything,
We're not telling you how to spend your money. We're
yeah,
trying to tell you to spend less.
yeah, we're kind of encouraging you to spend less or push it further. So instead of just getting one ship, you know, you could essentially chop that up with CCUs and get 2 ships, you know, or whatever you want to do. We're trying to teach you everything so you can tailor it to exactly what you want. Do you want to cut back? Do you want to expand? You do you. We're just giving you the tools to do what you want to do.
Yeah, hopefully we're helping you become more informed. I know that sounds weird, but Inforunners be concerned about having you informed.
But yeah, education, I think, is a bit of it too, you know. And what we've done has gone out, and now they don't come to us. They don't need to. That's kind of what we wanted. You know, we wanted people to avoid the pitfalls. And, you know, I hear from orgs now that they teach their people as they come in and stuff like that, you know, based off things that they learned and stuff like that. So I love that. I love the fact that new people are being educated. And fortunately, I just wish CIG would make it a bit simpler across the board, don't you? So,
well, yes and no. If I made everything too simple, we wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, but that's just how the
and
cookie crumbles. Yeah, hang on, you're back.
There it goes. I'm froze.
Yep.
Dev's Messenger has a question. They say, as a follow-up to their question about combat in jump points, if there is combat in jump points, it gives the mine ship a nightmarish role, mining jump points. Ooh, I would have thought that gives...
That's pretty cool, but I would kind of say that would be so strong that they would make it something like the mines get drift, or the mines have to be maintained. And if you look at it, I don't think you can stop in a jump point. So what would happen is if you drop a mine there, it would just drop. It would just drop out essentially, and it'd be the same. If you have to stop there to try and maintain it, you wouldn't be able to stop still either. So I think that's already ruled out. I think you can shoot, but I don't think you can leave mines, because you'll notice that they literally describe it like a flowing river, right? And that implies that you can't stop because it'll push you out. Essentially,
they did talk about if you fell out of a quantum jump, because if you bump the side or whatever, you could actually destroy yourself or be forced out of a jump, and you just drop into space somewhere, and you could be stranded.
I have no doubt that there will be people that do these epic missions to try and get people back.
Yeah, you know? Can you imagine dropping out? You're halfway from a jump point from Stanton to you know.
Yeah, and you're in an 890 jump, and it's like the dignitaries and all that.
Yeah, you're halfway through the president, and you drop out into nowhere. You know. So imagine the rescue mission for that. How long would it take to get there? Or you just say, "Yeah, you're dead. Respawn."
Yeah. I can't be bothered, Mr. President. You're stuffed.
Just region, sir. We can't reach you.
Yeah. Just we'll pay the insurance. It'll be fine. All right, Cheese Bread says, question, what deals, reveals, and event gifts did you anticipate for Luminalia? Well, there's a good one. Isn't there... Now, I was watching Pissed Off Pete, and apparently, you know those dices?
Yep.
Apparently, there's some kind of things similar to that coming, but I reckon they're giant baubles. You know the baubles you put on the Christmas tree?
Yep.
Like the balls. And the other one I know that they've got some kind of Luminalia flares already in the game. So there's definitely some in-game items coming.
CIG, I want my Christmas tree back. You know, I want my roof back. I want my Christmas tree back.
What's the biggest skin we ever got? I think it was the Caterpillar, wasn't it? So that's the biggest we've seen so far. But they had a lot of starter ship ones, didn't they? Had a Mustang one. What else? Remember the other Avenger one?
Look, and as much as I'd love to see an 890 jump Luminalia skin, it makes sense to make the skins for the ships that most people have.
Agreed.
Like, you know, make it for the starter ships, because
if that's the case, the cutter.
Yeah, you know, because most people are going to have Auroras and cutters and Mustangs.
Yeah.
So you make, you know, if you're really seriously trying to get something for everyone to be able to enjoy, you make it for small ships. You know, as much as I'd love it for the big stuff, but yeah. Elaine Ben says, I messed up a chain. Ended up with a little too expensive Perseus for 120 months instead of LTI. Thoughts? Did you
Ouch.
apply it? And if you did, we're sorry.
You
If you haven't applied
you
it,
could probably contact Concierge and get them to remove all the
yeah, they
CCs off
might do
it
that. They may help.
if you ask nicely. But you'd need to get them to remove them all off. And then you'd have to buy an LTO token, and I'd probably have the LTI token ready to go and say, look, I want to do this. I stuffed up. Is it your, if it's your first AIE, tell them it's your first AIE. I think there'll be a lot more sympathy. If you're an old hat at this, they're probably
Yeah, if I said to them, I've stuffed
yeah,
up, can you undo it because I really meant to make it, they're going to laugh at me and say, well,
yeah,
you know better.
yeah. But if it's your first time round, they'll probably be a bit more sympathetic. So yeah, and it will take time,
Yeah.
to get it done. So yeah, but yeah, that sucks, man.
Someone on YouTube says, oh, 10 years, only 10 years, what will you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah,
Well,
you could also just live with it. LTI is not the be all or end all. It essentially works monetarily out to be about $15. And the game itself works out to be $15, doesn't it? It's got to be
yeah.
weird.
And Chris was always used to say, look, insurance is going to be something you can earn in less than a mission. It was that type of thing. One box mission
Yeah.
would kind of pay your insurance.
Essentially,
It was that type of.
yeah, essentially one mission a month in that ship would pay for the insurance for the entire month. Yeah.
And 10 years insurance is for most games, a lifetime.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true.
if you've got bigger ships, then I think having to not worry about that insurance at all ever is just a nice little safety blanket or comforter. But yeah. So, did you really stuff up?
Yeah. It's up to you, man. At the end of the day, like if you want to go through the rigmarole of going through customer support and stuff like that, I think you could get it done if you had to.
Yeah.
But you're the one that has to answer that question. Some people, like the bigger a ship is, I think Algared and I would say over $250. Then you start to think about it, Algared, as being really essential.
Yeah, I think when you go into that stage where we say, we go sell your fighters. So basically, we're getting under $250 is worth is probably something you should look at buying in game.
Yeah,
and then now over $250, that's getting into, I suppose, serious money.
And those of you that have watched the channel know what the actual divide is there. We're just giving rough numbers for new people.
Yep. And it's
more great. Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
it's more detailed than that, but just a rough number for the beginners to start on.
So yeah. Randy Donald says, what quarter next year do you think the Polaris will be released? When it's ready?
When it's ready, but I said it could be as early as Invictus. I said that yesterday. I said it'd be a really cool kind of military craft to come out at Invictus. Not saying it will. In fact, I'd probably be realistic and say it's probably more likely going to be AIE CitizenCon. But it would be nice to have it come out at Invictus. It'd be a real pumped up thing, but we've also got to have kind of, I don't know how integral server meshing is to it, but it would definitely run a lot better if it had server meshing, that's for sure.
I do have to go back to a comment in YouTube because T-Jack says laughs in WoW when you say 10 years is close to LTI.
Yeah.
Don't go for that, guys. Been in a WoW fan since 2006, and they're going in 20 years. Go for the LTI. Yeah, I laugh. I laugh at my comment when I think of EverQuest, which is still going, and that predates WoW. So
that said, though, good games like that are few and far between.
Yeah,
because I've seen. I'll give you an example of the opposite thing. There's actually a legal case going on at the moment with 2K Games, and a mum of her son. She's representing her son because he's not old enough to represent himself. But basically, long story short, he got so pissed because he kept buying. I can't remember what game it was. Right? Let's just say it's FIFA. I know it's not made by 2K, but like so you buy a sports game, and it's about their in-game currency. And basically, say I buy 2018 and I play it for 2 years, and then what happens is 2 years after it comes out, they've already released 19 and 20. Then they turn off the servers, and any currency I have left there doesn't carry over. It's just gone.
Yep.
They delete
Oh, I
it.
know it. Yeah.
All the items I brought, they don't transfer over. They're deleted. Right? Why shouldn't they carry over? They should.
Yep.
It's the same game. It's just upgrade the textures. And good companies like Valve, they did just that. They took all the skins and went, oh, they're going into Counter-Strike 2. It's not a lot of work because it's just up-resing a texture. And if you actually know how it's done, right, and I'm sure you can find videos on it, it is not that complicated. It's actually easier than most people think. It's essentially going into Photoshop, scaling it up, and then redrawing the texture in Photoshop. And there is actually AI now that can do upscaling for you. That whole NVIDIA thing with NVIDIA Portal RTX thing where they used the AI generation, they just ran the AI through over the textures of the game and just upscaled all of them with AI. That's all it was. So they now have the tech to use an AI to do it. Why don't they just apply that? Think about it. Every Madden game, every FIFA game, all those that have those multi-cycle things, and they would carry over. And that would be good for them and for the customer because they would build a loyal player base that would buy the next game every time because they know their content would carry over.
Yep. Oh, look.
And that's why they're suing them. Because it's terrible.
I can fully get behind what they're saying because, you know, I know you've got into World of Warships and you're enjoying that. And I know you've bought some ships, and I say, but part of my reason for that is because, you know, I'd better tested World of Warplanes, I'd been on World of Tanks. Because of the testing, I was on 2 different servers. When they merged the accounts, so, you know, because they used to have different accounts, and they thought, oh, we'll put all your subscribers stuff together so you get double time. No, because I was on different servers or different, you know, they says, oh no, we can't do anything. No, you know, so I just went, no, I'm done backing you.
I've got early adopters often get shafted. Like, my Steam account was made the day Steam existed, right?
Yep.
And back then they did it based on email and not on this ID system. So now everyone has a username. So my username is literally an old email that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So good luck ever cracking my Steam password.
Yeah. Even Discord's a bit like that, isn't it? You know, the old, they've made us change over to these new names, and names, disgusting. But you know, that's me ranting. Anyway, we'll move on. North End Trooper, what are your thoughts on the best in show paints now that they are in game?
They're pretty good.
They look pretty sexy.
I'm pretty happy with the Redeemer one. I checked out the Vulture one. I like the kind of texture to them. They have like a cool kind of texture. I listened to Expat rant for about an hour about how bad the 600i one was, but I don't really care because that ship's... But I didn't actually think it was that bad. But yeah, every skin can obviously be updated and fixed a little bit, let's be honest. And they probably will get that treatment given enough time, you know. You can actually generally look at some of the patterns, and they are patterns of that ship, but just changed. So one of the ones was they look very similar to the Foundation Festival skins in some cases, and they just changed the colors, you know. So it just saves them a bit of time. I guarantee that the type, like that person spent more time actually making the texture before putting it on all the ships than actually like laying it out. They've just basically said, put this here, put this here, put this here, put this here very quickly. Again, they probably did the whole things in less than a couple of hours. Skins are pretty quick, and knowing how Data Forge works here with this will definitely speed things up for them.
Yep. So Nova 42 has a question. They say, was or how CIG handled the Warbond CCUs during the final different from previous years?
3 different days, essentially, turning certain ones off and on, and it made it a little difficult.
So in previous years, they just put all the final days CCUs and all the specials for those 3 days out as one. Yep. This time you had 2 turn up on the first day, a couple on the second day. You know, they had 4 each day, and 2 were really good, and 2 were big, 2 were small, 2 were big, 2 were small. But they were changing those 4 every day. So you had to, you know,
Not to
make
mention
choice.
all the ones that they kind of did the way along, but I don't think there was really many of them that came to pass that were
No.
important. Yeah, it just makes it really hard to
Yeah.
do these guides because you're essentially you have to gamble a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think the
Whereas,
only part I'll add to that is if you're going to gamble on them over $250, worry about those ones. The ones underneath you're going to just save $5 anyway.
yeah,
5, 10.
and the hard thing is, as you were saying, in the past, we'd put all the CCUs out on the day,
Mm.
so the RSI ones and all that. But on the last 3 days, all of those CCUs would be available. Every CCU would have been.
Yep.
So you could go, you look and go, okay, yeah, I'm going to buy that one, and you could actually plan your chain out, and then on those last 3 days, do your purchases. The changes they've got actually mean you've got to go, oh, this one's a really good one at the moment, and hope that the other ones dovetail in with it and don't supersede it. But so it makes it a bit more difficult, but it's still, you can still get some good discounts on the ships.
So I'm going to answer a question here because it's a weird one. First time chatter replied to someone else that asked a question, right? So I'm going to answer that question for him because he was a first time chatter. So Van Dilla is the person who asked the question, but the first time chatter is Henny Pen. And he said, Henny Pen said, this is my worry. And the question by Van Dilla was, when you compare how Eve works to how Star Citizen is going, do you think we will have similar consolidation,
Conversations?
with a consolidation of orgs
Oh,
into big alliances? Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they allow that, like allow alliances and stuff like that. But also they can use AI to make their own alliance and then break up an alliance too. If you think about it, when they're 90% of the player base is AI, that's there to correct things that they don't want to go awry, like someone stockpiling a shitload of stuff to stuff with the economy, which we've seen in KOTOR and Eve and many other MMO ever existed. So that stops all that because they can use the AI to bend it back. They can cheat with the AI and bend it back.
I remember Tony Zerovic talking about how, he knew from experience of working on Ultima, where the economy got broken by the players. And he was working on Ultima, if I understand correctly. So he knows firsthand what was the problem and how they tried to fix it and what worked and didn't work.
Yeah.
And he's taking all of that and applying. And that's one of the reasons I understand we've got, roughly 90% of the population are NPCs. It's to stop us actually screwing up the economy beyond repair. The tools are already in to actually deal with that. One of the ideas that were originally floated as to why we wouldn't be building ships is they wanted us to be able to contribute, but not control the economy. They wanted us to be able to contribute to the manufacture of weapons and ships and other things, but not be able to do that ourselves. That seems to be changing a little, which was a surprise for certainly me.
Me too. It sounds like the first bit of feature creep we've actually gotten in a long time, probably a couple of years, like other small things, but that's a pretty big one. Essentially alluded to player built space stations, player building ships and weapons and manufacturing, like gone way off. That's things that they didn't say. So,
and yet, even though we say player built space stations was mind blowing, when I think about it, it wasn't, because I can remember Todd Pappy talking about how a space station was really just a land base.
Yep.
Everything that's on a land base is what's in a space station. So if we're building outposts and land bases,
do you remember that episode we did like 3 or 4 years ago, and you and I spent probably 2.5 months calculating all that stuff and put it into like a 2-hour, or maybe it was a 2-hour episode or an hour and 20-minute episode or whatever. Nobody watched it. Yeah. And we were like, just fuck you guys, we're going home.
Crestfallen.
Yeah. And it was me and Algared just were theorizing, like, based on the way they were doing the room system, that they could use this to make space station rooms. And it all came to pass, right? And it's the same thing. It's just expanded on that now. They're using the room system for ships. They're using the room system for bunkers. They're using essentially, it's just like you said, it's a different container, but they just use rooms in it. So you make a really big container, and then you can just have as many rooms in it as you want. It's kind of clever if you think about it, because it just works on everything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you could essentially, like, no, don't take me on my word here, right? But if you could procedurally generate the outer hull of a ship, you could then theoretically procedurally generate the rooms within inside it. We actually could get to that point. If you think about it, right? That makes sense, yeah? Now, they're not going to be as nice and neat as laid as what we've got now. Right? There's obviously going to be a lot of space in there because of the procedural generation part, but it would theoretically be possible. So, yeah. All right, Agard's dropped off. I'll go on to the next one.
An outpost. Oh, I've dropped out.
Go ahead. Say, you just got back. So,
but even as you look at the base building and building outposts, if an outpost has the same things that a space station has, then if we're building outposts, building a space station is just a no-brainer. It's just taking that one step. Instead of building on a planet, you're putting in space.
And you got to take your resources there. That's probably the only other part. Like you might, do a bit like Endor, the base on the planet that helps you construct the thing in space, essentially. Yeah.
So when I think of it, even though when you were getting bases,
that'd be interesting because you could wonder if you actually can do the Endor thing, like have a shield on the planet that protects the thing on the thing, and they protect each other because that's the incoming line of defense, and they got to get past that to get to the actual. Man, I think that might be a thing, Agard. We'll have to kind of see what happens there, but I can't see why that wouldn't work. Can you imagine if there actually was like a beam of laser or something going from like Microtech to Port Tresla or something like that, and it protects it with a shield? That'd be mad. It'd look awesome too. The other one that I think of all of a sudden is space elevators.
Yeah.
Just going up back home for a second, honey. Better than the fire escape stairs though. You take the stairs, Agard, I'll take the elevator.
Oh no, I'm not taking the fire stairs.
There's stuff this.
5 days later, flying up to 4,000 or 5,550.
I'll take the parachute.
How to build your stamina?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd work.
But yes, even though it's new, it shouldn't be new when we think of it in terms of what they were saying we could do.
Yeah,
it's just stretching that application and giving all the up. Yeah, so yeah. Having Warbond CCU, North End Trooper, having a Warbond CCU in a Best in Show course. If I exercise it next month, do I get the paint or only within IAE?
So if you brought a Best in Show version of, like, it actually has, how do I explain this?
It's got to have that kind of icon for the,
because I ran into this problem myself.
Show type thing.
Well, it's a little bit more detailed than that, Agard. I actually ran into this problem myself. Hang on, let me close some of this stuff down to save some memory. So if you go into the pledge store right now, I'll just move this over. So I did this with a 600i, right? I ran into this problem myself. So basically, if I go into the pledge store and you go to ships and you're buying one that's got a Best in Show. So this will be the same for the Corsair. Actually, we could just use the Corsair. Let's do that.
Send to questions on a Corsair.
Yeah. Right. So when you go in here, you'll get a buying option that literally says IAE. And notice how it's purple in the photo. This won't work for melting purposes because it's included in the pack. When you melt the pack, you lose it. So the way around that is you do it like a CCU. So the way I did it was I actually brought a Prowler and then I brought just a plain Jane's non-Warbond CCU and upgraded it into a 600i. So what'll happen now is when they, at the end of the sale, because they said they're going to do it on the 27th, and then at the end of the sale, they're going to put them out. So I've actually got a Prowler here that I've upgraded to a 600i. Agard, can you see what I called it there?
No, I can't see what you called it. Hang on.
I'll zoom in for you.
It's too small.
All right. Can you see it? Can you see now? Wait. Oh, shit. I lost it. There. 600. It's just this right here. Can you read it?
Yeah, I just said the stuffed pig.
Yeah. Because it's stuffed. I'm going to stuff it right back into buyback as soon as I've got the skin off it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I would do it basically. Because because what happened was the first one I brought was the AIE one, and then I went, hang on, why hasn't it attributed this skin on the 27th? Oh shit, it's in the pack already. Oh shit, if I melt this, I'm going to lose it. So I did melt it, and then did what I just said. So I'd
Yep.
recommend the same thing. If you've literally got 2 hours, less than 2 hours to do so. So yeah.
But yeah, if you've got the war bond with the best in show skin attached to it, yes, if you apply that skin, you'll get the paint because it's attached to that ship and that thing. You'll get the paint.
Yeah.
But if you want that skin in your hangar so that you can melt that and
Mhm.
still have the skin, then you've got to do what it says. But yeah,
Yeah. I got all, because this is the other thing. I didn't get the poster either. So like they applied all the others, and that's kind of what let me know. I was like, okay, what's going on here? What, there you go. So there's the others.
Yep.
And what I did initially was I just bought a Corsair outright, but it was for some reason the Corsair I brought just didn't have the best in show on it. And it's because I brought it with all credit. But when I brought the all credit version with the 600i, for some reason it had the purple one. And it just stuffed me around. I'm like, okay, so I need to figure out a way to do this differently. And so I just did it with the CCU to keep it plain Jane, to essentially remove the AIE part. And then in a couple of days' time, when they apply that, I'll just melt that 600i and I'll have the skin, but not have the ship. And right now, I have a Corsair skin, but I don't have a Corsair.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, question from Cheesebread. Speaking of CIG breaking CCUs, what are your gambles about the M2 Orion gap? It's $45 now. Will the M2 overappreciate? I think
$45. I think there was back in the day. Don't quote me, but there was one to. He said M2, yeah, didn't he? M2 to Orion.
I did say M2.
You've got some other ships there, like the Liberator, but that's going to go up, obviously. That might jump into that place. I don't know.
Well,
they may eventually fill it with another ship down the line, but you're essentially asking me to predict the future.
And
it's hard to do.
We know that the Orion's going to jump in price again. You know, so if it's a $45 CCU now, it might be valued at $150 later. If it doesn't go to if that Orion doesn't end up being close to $1,000 ship, I'll be surprised. It's a capital ship. It's massive.
It's essentially as big as a Javelin type of thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's double the price of the Arrestra.
It's that image that I've got here. Give me a second. This one.
You're pulling up the
the one by our friend Grim. Yeah, one by our friend Grim. Yep. So Grim, I asked Grim to do this. I just said, can you redo the YT ship scale images of old, because we hadn't had one since 2018, and back in the day they were just all white gradiented ones. And I said, you've got this thing, just put out the thing. And I said, why don't you put that out every quarter or whatever, just take over what they were doing, and hopefully he will keep this up. But yeah, look, there's an Orion, there's a Javelin. It is easily the second biggest ship in the game right now. So
so I expect to do it, double in price. If you got the Arrestra at $500, I can easily see the Orion being $1,000.
Yep.
Great if you got one.
Yep. And for the long haul Algared, I got that at $325, and I'm already loving it. I've got it for 50% off, and it's going to keep going because it's not out yet.
Yep, I know Hayes used to have hull Ds and Es. I was the Orion head. I loved the idea of a mining. So
actually caught up with Hayes yesterday for about an hour. So yeah, we had a good chat. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
Next question.
Next question is from Zimfella. Would you recommend upgrading Argo Cargo Referral to the cutter? Something more useful but won't cost much.
Absolutely, why not? That sounds like a win-win to me. You're going from a ship that's a snub to a ship that's got a quantum drive, and you can go around. If it's not,
and then if you decide you want to CC it to something else down the track, then go for it.
Obviously, problem is, do you have another ship that you could use that on?
Yeah.
That's you got to answer that for yourself there. But turn it into a cutter is great. If you don't have any other ship and that's all you've got, that could be funny. But if that's the only ship you've got, then absolutely, it's way more useful. Is the cutter the right? If you've got two ships, so you've got pick one, and does it complement the original ship you had? Does the cutter complement it? These are things I'd get you to think about. But obviously, we don't know all your details, so you do. But we don't. So again,
Yeah.
that's a fix my fleet question too. You could literally do a fix my fleet on the Discord and say, I've got this, I'm thinking about turning this into that. What do you guys think? And people respond.
Often though, the smaller choice, the early choices for those CCUs or those referrals are often.
You there, Agard? Nope, I lost you. All right, I'll be back in a second. I'm looking up. So someone asked me about that image, and I'll see if Grim's got an updated version
On
of it.
CCU chain.
There,
But when you're looking at CCU chains, often you know that your chain's going to go to a larger ship, and so going to those chains that going to the earlier ships, down the chain, you want to play that style of ship. It's not as big an issue as say applying the chain up to the Perseus and then going, oh, I've changed my mind, because most chains are going to go through the same points, and so if you want to try a ship out or do something, it's not as big an issue. But yeah, the idea of a cutter seems much better use than an Argo.
Yeah. So there's Grim's post for that image if you want it, guys. For the few of you that were looking for it, the one I actually have is a little bit out of date. So yeah.
So Golden Nova, Auric Nova, says, what are your thoughts on the F7A Luminalia rumors? I'm hoping if it happens, it will be able to upgrade my Super Hornet.
There's no actual word of F7A. It is Mark II is what it's called. So that could be F7A, or it could be every version of the Hornet getting an update. We just don't know.
Update.
So you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with them updating the Hornets. If they turn around and sell the F7A, I guess I kind of don't have a problem with that too as much. I'm more worried. I would have preferred the F8 not be sold, than the F7A. So the F7A I don't have so much of a problem with, because it was just a $20 upgrade, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for them to sell it again, to be honest with you. But the F8, that was always promised for Squadron 42, and so the fact that they've sold it, I just don't like.
I would love the F7A skin upgrade, so like the kit to make your ship look like an F7A fighter.
Yeah, I don't reckon we're going to get a CCU or an upgrade. I reckon it's going to be the whole ship in one go, and it'll be
I would have liked to see
$200. You reckon in one go? Yeah.
But I would have liked to see that upgrade pack they had just be on the store all the time, and the funds just go all the funds always go into that charity that they
or charity, or have a list of charities and you can pick which one it goes to, or something like that.
And I'd have, because that the F7A upgrade kit was a $20 pack, and it sells for hundreds. It's insane.
$450, I think, was the last time I saw it. It's probably higher than that now.
And the idea of it was to support a charity, support the VA in America. Now, I would have loved it if we'd had a choice to support Legacy.
That's why it was never sold again, because there was so many complaints for every other country. It's like, well, why is this only going to America? It needs to go everywhere. And I think that's totally valid. It should have been a more global charity, but yeah.
But the fact that people bought them and then scalping them off for $450 a pop.
Yeah, pretty rare though now, Algared. Like you and I don't see them very often anymore. So,
so yeah, it's
what my hope is they literally have it so that some of those funds do go to charity. That would be a great Christmas present if you think about it. If they made it so it was an upgrade that you could get, and all those funds, like it's a $20 upgrade from whatever Hornet to that, and all $20 goes to, a list of charities or a charity of your choice or something like that. Yep, because then CIG would get the money for the original Hornet, and then that charity gets the upgrade money. I think that's win-win.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. But, all right, next one.
What's the old saying? Once bitten, twice shy.
Prepare for what is it? Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, or something like that as well. Yeah. Right. Question:
when is the next Star chip sale? Is it Christmas time? I forget their Star Citizen name. Luminalia is the Star Citizen name.
Yeah, but the next sale big ship sale will be Invictus. It's only every 6 months. But I did say this yesterday. I am expecting eventually we're going to be moving into a quarterly ship sales
Yeah.
to go along with the updates and stuff. But when that's going to be, who knows? But right now, I was saying, like, look at the ships that are sitting there. We've got a Santuck EI, we've got a what do you call it? The Expedition. So we've got a small, a kind of medium, and there's even a vehicle in the leak files that is looking, and it might even be the UTV, but they've renamed it, by the way. I can't quite remember the name off the top of my head. I'll quickly look it up. Yeah, but yeah, Invictus, yeah, Algared?
Sorry?
Invictus would be the next big ship sale?
Yeah. But, well, we've got 2 big sales at the moment. We've got IAE.
Hmm. Can you see that, Algared? Oh, no, I lost him. Right. Let me be back in a sec. Yeah, it basically got AIE and Invictus is what he was about to say. Yeah, so that's without tires, Algared. Now, I don't know about you, but that looks like the STV, but with a kind of roll bar trailer on the back, essentially the UTV. I just think they've renamed.
That looks like that trailer we saw.
Yeah, I think
on the back of it.
I think they've renamed. They've renamed the UTV to the CAV, unless I'm mistaken. But again, that'll come out in time, obviously. So yeah. All right, next question.
What was their deal with a war bond on the Razor LX, but not the Razor base? Huh?
Price?
Yeah.
They probably wanted people to buy the Razor LX because it's not as popular as the default Razor. That's what a lot of those CCUs are for, to encourage you to buy stuff that they are trying to get you to buy more of. Because, we'll put it this way, I had so many people ask me, why isn't there a CCU on the Aristrata? Well, because it's new and they know you're going to buy it anyway. They
put a CCU available for that new concept ship. Everyone just buys the CCU.
Yep.
It's a bit like why do they sell them as war bond? Because in the past, what we used to do is buy them with credit and melt them and buy it again.
Yep.
Oh, we got 50,000 ships sold.
Yep.
How much money do we make? Nothing. Yep. Because they just kept buying with credits.
Yeah.
Why do they change it? Because we stuffed it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, T-Jack, I did say AIE. It happens when you hang around X so much. Like we said at the beginning, we talk so often, that familiarity is why we often seem to be at each other's throats, or why. And I know people say, you cut me off all the time. And it's that familiarity. Half the time we know what each other's going to say.
And a bit of lag.
And we also get that lag, but it is that type of thing. And yes, so because of that, I've picked up his habit of going AIE, and it drives me nuts when I do it. Now, speaking of weird things, I had a coffee thing come through.
Just real quick, Katuta Zero says, finally caught you guys live. He's a first-time chat on Twitch. Sorry, go ahead.
Glad you were average once. Yep. So I had a coffee advertisement come through yesterday for pre-order of coffee. I was like, yeah. So the geisha. I missed the sale. I missed the pre-orders. They're already sold out. $65 for 50 grams. That's a $1,300 a kilo coffee.
Yeah.
That's like, that would have been, ectoplasmic dynamite. That would have been fantastic.
You don't need it.
For that.
You're not going to die. You're not going to die. You'll be fine.
I can't.
Yeah.
I didn't even get it. It was gone before I even saw it. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Beryllium 1043. Sounds like some Stardate weapons.
We answered a question by him earlier. Actually, it's further down. Yeah. But this is his first one. I answered his second one. But yeah.
So we answered his first one. So his first question was, I was led to believe that the early CCU would return for a final sales. Was I wrong, or did they throw a curveball this time?
No, that's happened before. They remove them, and it makes it this gamble. And I just really wish they wouldn't do that. I think they would sell a lot more if they just
put them all out. Boom.
Yeah.
And redone.
Yep. Just making this huge, massive chain, because one, people would know it because it's secure. They'd know that they can get what it is, and if they're smart enough, they can just lay out the chain and go, we want them to possibly go to these ships, and you could essentially only give them jump off points to the ships that you want them to jump to. If you actually thought about it, they could bend it to their will essentially.
Yeah, and I just wish that wouldn't do it. It just makes it easier if it's all there. But anyway, Leo S, what do you think the Orion final price will be? Well, I've already said I think it's going to be double the Arista.
Yeah.
Arista.
It sounds like it's just like a dying dog or
something. Double Vierica Strata. Yeah.
First time chatter question here. Boss Cube says, question, any chance of a heavy hauler from Crusader like the Jupiter we see on Horizon? I'll let you take that one because you're a Crusader hater now. I used to be a Crusader lover, but now a Crusader hater.
So what was the question, sorry?
Question is by Boss Cube, who says, any chance of a heavy hauler from Crusader like the Jupiter we see on Horizon?
I'd love to see a Jupiter type ship. I was frustrated that we got the Kraken instead of the Jupiter because we have in law certain companies that have built civilian carriers. I would have, and it was something that Drake had never even mentioned in law. But they get a carrier, whereas the companies that have got them in law don't. It frustrates me. Will they do it? Part of me thinks that the C2 series actually, obviously, the C2, M2, A2 kind of morphed from that idea and became a troop ship carrier or a vehicle carrier. Will we get it? Maybe. How long's a piece of string? Never say never, but yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think we'll get some kind of major capital ship from every manufacturer, right? So even right now, you can look at RSI and go, the Orion's one. You can look at the MISC and go, the Endeavor's one. You can also say essentially the Odyssey's one as well, if you think about it, But it's like the real big ones, like an Idris, a Kraken, an Orion, those real big ones, and the Endeavor up there. I think you'll probably get one from the key manufacturers, What they do, I think they kind of, if you look at the three we've got now, they're combat or support. They kind of fall into that what's the word I'm looking for? Not domination, but they either support or they control, I think is the word I would try and use. They can kind of control the things around them. So, or they give access, so the Kraken allows smaller ships to get to where they wouldn't be, and they can join the fight essentially. The Idris kind of does a bit of that as well, but it's a lot more combat focused. And then the Javelin is just all damage. It's just Yeah,
and then you got the Endeavor, which is really your behind the scenes doing a lot of stuff. It's the hospital, or it's the science station, or it's the farm.
It's the support, like the Kraken, but it's got the combat part taken off it. So you kind of got this scale between the four of them. You kind of go support and a bit of combat, more combat, less support, and then like all combat. And then the Orion is just a complete outlier where it's just all mining
industry.
Yeah. But I have no doubt though that there'll be other ships like that too eventually, like the one that I talk about, like the Nebula. A ship that just literally consumes nebulas, and that could be an Argo capital. That could be a consolidator. Well, we've already kind of got the consolidator land, actually, the Pioneer.
It's a Pioneer.
Yeah.
And then you've and Mescav. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those big MISC ships get shifted across to Mirai.
Yeah.
Because you've got the Hull E, which is massive, and that's kind of doing that. And then you've got the Endeavour, which is kind of...
Yeah.
And so, MISC have two of those big, massive ships in their wheelhouse, whereas others have none. So I could see them maybe shunting one across.
You can clearly see there's something for Anvil, something for Crusader. I'd possibly argue... that's probably it, really. Argo, maybe. Argo is probably the only other one I can think of.
You've got Crusader there. You've got Origin
Yeah.
there.
No,
You've got Misc there.
yeah. But I would say Origins is big enough. I would say the
Yeah.
Pioneer is big enough. Like I'm kind of comparing them to the Kraken
The Star.
essentially. And yes,
Yeah.
the 890 jump is a little smaller, so yes, I could possibly. But what is it going to do? Is it a flying football stadium? Like, where do you go after the 890 jump? You know, like
The mobile satellite stadium.
yes, maybe.
Go into Banu space, run a game.
The gambler's den. It's just a giant Sartable gambling den or something. You know. I had someone say, and I thought of this like by Drake, but like Jabba's sail barge. So kind of like the 890 jump, but it's landlocked, and it's Jabba's sails barge. But yeah, so could the Genesis Starliner grow to be the size of a massive capital? You know, could it be the Jupiter, like he mentioned? Like it's what now fits into Crusader's lore, because they've skewed and gone into essentially storage, cargo, transportation, and now massive combat stuff. So that could go anywhere too. Anvil, I think you would agree with me, is more likely combat. But I would hope, knowing things like the Liberator, the Crucible, and a bit of exploration, that it's combat adjacent, or like these ones, that is military adjacent. I would love that to be, because I think we've kind of, as I said, you at the higher end, you've kind of got to have more niche things, right? Notice how they share things in common, but none of them directly compete. Like the Kraken versus Idris, right? So the Idris is combat support, but way more combat, where this is combat support, but way more support. Similar, but not trading on each other.
Indeed. Have you heard about the drama video A1 put out?
Yes. Nope. Yes, I have. And long story short, it's drama. And while it was not very nice, and it is not very nice, I just don't like drama. I'm not a fan of it. I don't agree with anything that was done in the video. But I also, how do I put this?
You understand where they're coming from?
No, I understand where they're coming from. I think it was very nice. Not very nice, sorry. Not very nice.
Yep.
But just don't like drama. I don't know how to put it. Like it's had it linked to me by probably 20 or 30 people, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's just, I don't like what happened, but I also just don't like the negativity of it, the drama of it. Like it's just not a, I don't want to sweep it under the rug, but I just don't want to highlight it, if that makes sense. Like I'd love those people to be kind of dealt with, so to speak, and then move on. But also, by the same token, the bigger this game gets, the more casual people are going to come into it. That core really cool community we have is going to get more and more tarnished, because they weren't here for the long haul. They didn't have the camaraderie that we had, right? And let's just look at guys in general. We're a lot more immature when we're younger than we are when we're older, and you add women into that mix as well, all the different ages, all the different gameplays that are going to come online. You can start to see it's not going to be the same little sweet spot we've had, right? And so my hopes and my don't look at the drama thing is not going to last. I know that. I've got pie in the sky hopes, really. But yeah, long story short, Algared, some people did some pretty heinous stuff in this org to try and demoralize a lot of people. And some Avenger One and Gabbits, which is another Twitch streamer, had some pretty heinous stuff done to them. And a gentleman ended up taking his life, and Avenger One alluded to the fact that the stuff that they did more than likely influenced his decision to take his own life. And having struggled with that myself, suicide in the past, I can see where that's come from. But by the same token, I just don't like how. So here's the thing. This is where I struggle. Like, do you get the message out, or do you put it on a YouTube channel and monetize the shit out of it? And that's where I struggle, right? The monetization of drama. I just, I can't agree with that part. Like, I would have been much better with a Twitter post, or now I don't even know if he's monetized it, to be honest with you. I didn't actually look into that, but it seems like another manufactured drama post, and I just don't like it. But you know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off the mark here. I don't know, you guys tell me in chat, am I off the mark on this one? I just don't like drama. I don't like the manufactured stuff. So yeah.
So Deaf Messenger says, "You missed my question, sad panda face."
No, we did
I
that
just
one.
scrolled back and I didn't see your question.
We did it before.
Okay, I did look for it. I did scroll back,
and I did actually.
I
that's how I know you're tired, because I actually read that one out and told him it's actually the next question. Remember when I did that?
Okay,
that was that question.
Yes, I do remember that one.
It took that long to get through to that one, though. So, yeah.
And then we've done that one. So we've done the follow up. Question from Gren of DK. Could you see a Cyclone AA refitted with a Storm AA battery?
Cyclone AA refitted with a Storm AA battery.
So the massive missile battery on the Storm AA being put onto a Cyclone AA. I would say if they did
it'd
that,
be too heavy, wouldn't it?
It'd
be and it'd be too heavy. It would pop the tires, essentially. That's why it's on a tank.
Could I see a smaller version of that being put onto one? Yeah.
You know what my line's going to be, Algared? Never say never. It's just
Yep.
Could we see pigs that literally fly in Star Citizen? Never say never. You ask stupid questions, get stupid prizes. That's
oh, come on, it's not really a stupid question.
No, it's not a stupid question, but you know the saying. The saying is, ask stupid questions, win stupid prizes. It's not a stupid question, right? But what? Yeah, it's like it's like you said. Why? It's like you said. Why would you have a storm and a cyclone that did the same thing?
Yeah. I couldn't see CIG doing it because you negate the storm.
Yes.
So, Pit Ben Dragon says, the other day I saw one of your videos talking about the Endeavour. You mentioned that its hangar will be able to contain 2 Cuddy Reds. Can you name us? Yes. It's everywhere. I'm pretty certain the information about the being able to store 2 Cuddy Reds was in the original document.
Yeah.
I'd have to go dig that up.
Yeah. That's no. That's their job. You need to go find that for yourself. But yeah, the original thing was 2 cutters, and there's actually now been videos that have come out.
Not cutters.
Cuddy Reds, but there's now been videos too of John Cruz saying that the Apollo will fit as well. So it's all part of it. And again, if you go to metrics, it means it'll be 2 medium hangars, so it'll be 2 S3 size hangars, which is the same as the 2 bigger ones that are on the Kraken, which is what you talk about in the video as well, Algared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when John Crew first said that about the Apollo, people said, I can take 2 Apollos. No, he never said it'd take 2 Apollos. It was just, it can take an Apollo. And so that's 2 medium hangars, or the 3 hangars for the Cuddy Reds would be big enough for 1 Apollo. You know, so yeah. But it's always been that. In fact, if you go and watch our videos on the Endeavour, our deep dives on the Endeavour, I'm pretty certain you'll find the information because we'd have actually pulled that information up. So, anyway, I'll put a tick next to that one because we've answered that. We've answered that one. We've answered that one. We've answered that one. Jez MCM says, any word on Titan suits? No, we haven't heard any more.
Last thing we heard was a line of the code that talked about a Titan suit mount. That was it.
So that's all we can tell you. I do believe from what we've said before, what we've heard seems to imply that it might be the boss mob, one of the boss mobs in Squadron 42. In which case they don't need to do anything because it's just a suit, which we blow up and destroy. And Space Tomato and their viewers just joined. Say hi. Hi. Hey, Space, come and join us for a bit.
Yeah, come and join us for 5 minutes, Space. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah. You know you're allowed.
Jump on camera over there if you want.
Yeah. Camera 1.
Yeah, camera 1 if you join us.
Camera 1 if you want to join us, Space. We'd love to have you. You can take some questions. Yeah.
Like why he's got such an awesome voice.
That's right. Make people swoon.
Mm.
Pyro Run says, do you think they will eventually refresh for Freelancer line? Oh, we hope so. Yes, Luna Maria, if you're here, or Luna Maria, if you're here. Yes, we still need to do your show of which ships need an update, and this is one of them, I think. Other ships of that class, like the Cutlass, Spirit, and Zeus, seem to be much better designed than the Freelancer. Yeah, like Freelancer's like one of the first 5.
Freelancer, duh. Yeah.
Yeah. And the duh.
Yeah.
So Alcana Bellamy says, is it soon yet? No. So soon trademark yet? No, not so, not that soon, but soon. John Coral says, question, with the design of the Odyssey leaving CIG, do you expect it to change a lot? Also, what would you like to change on it? Often you find the concept artists pull in and do stuff on the ships, and then the team goes and build them out. Yeah. So do I expect much change? It could. It may. It may not. You look at the Mustang that was built by Dave Hobbins. It pretty much is exactly as it was. They made some changes later on to try and solve issues, but didn't change it. Other ships have been designed by guys who developed, ships for Star Wars. So a lot of people draw a link. Oh, the Razor Crest looks like a Cutlass. Yes, because the guy who designed the Razor Crest designed the Cutlass. So will they change it? Maybe, maybe not. Next question is Dub Coyote. Dub Coyote says, I'm building a CCU chain from an MPUV to a BMM and have a question. I got around $320 savings so far. Should a person bank that, or is there much risk in waiting?
How much credit was it?
320 savings so far from an MPUV to a BMM.
That's pretty good.
And I think by bank, he's saying, should I cash it in?
No.
Apply it, or
unless you really want those loaners, I'd wait until it's out, because that's going to be, because obviously you want to play it when it's out. Just leave it there unapplied and just keep, check. We'll put it this way: we know it's been not worked on. They talked about it at CitizenCon not being worked on, so it's not announced. I would say even if they had said they started working on it, would be at least 6 months. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So that means you can have at least another sale at Invictus, and then after that, then they may announce it. So you might have another year of sales for that thing.
You might get two major sales in between, where you may pick up another CCU. It may only be a $5 saving, but hey.
Yeah. So Lemming wants
$325 saving, So.
Lemming wants to know, is the MPU or a referral? Who was the person that were they on
Dub
Twitch?
Coyote. Dub Coyote on YouTube.
All right, so Dove Coyote, is that a referral MPUV? Let us know, and I'll pass that on to you, Lemming.
But yeah, so
can someone do me
it does come down to what you said. If you want those loaners and you're happy with it saving, then yeah. But
just real quick, can someone test the ginger cat emoji that I just uploaded on Twitch, please? It's not working for me, but if one of you guys can refresh and let me know if it's working. I know that sounds stupid, but I added a new emoji and I just want to make sure it's working, because I know it's working on YouTube, but for some reason it wasn't working on Twitch. So I deleted it and re-uploaded it. That's what I've been doing over here all this time, trying to fix that emoji. Anyway.
Now we're being trolled with this next question.
Yeah.
This is by Imperial Ramblings, and clearly they're rambling.
Right.
Is the Endeavour worth buying?
Nah, don't touch it. It's terrible. It's the worst ship in the entire game, and Algared would agree with me. It's shockingly bad. You shouldn't touch it.
It's so bad
that
they've never increased the price from its original concept.
Yep.
That's how bad it is.
It's so bad that it's this little tiny ship that's going to grow to be the biggest thing we've ever seen. Don't touch it. It's terrible value. It's a $350 ship masquerading as a $1,000 ship. Don't touch it. It's a ripoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And after that question, they had the reason I said they're trolling us because they had laugh out louds, a couple of
Yeah.
the icons. So yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't worked out, we're known as the Cult of the Endeavor. Yes, yeah. Anyway, some guy. Do you think there will be more long-range fighters like Vanguards? I like the amenities on the Vanguard, but would like to see an Anvil or a consolidated Outland take.
Hey, cool, it's working. Sweet. All right, people got the ginger cats working. And it was halfway through the question and dropped out. Right.
Yeah, I think we'll see more. Yeah.
Right. So what was it again? See more long range.
Well, we see more long range fighters. Yeah, like the Vanguard. With the amenities and stuff. Yeah, I think so.
I think we've got the Redeemer's another long range kind of thing. We've got the Vanguard. Yeah, I think we will. We've only really kind of got. I don't know, is there more than the two? I'm trying to think. They're not something I really think about too often, other than the Vanguard and the Redeemer. Any others that you're aware of? Or have I?
You could see the Misery as one. Bacani Andromeda used to be seen as a space superiority fighter, which would have been long range.
Right.
But yeah, I can't really think of too many more that really fit into that category at the moment. I could see the Defender being in that range because it does have the beds, but
I'll give you the Defender. I'd go Defender, Vanguard, and Redeemer.
Yeah.
As in, because they also said fighters.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put some of those.
Yeah, and the others, and the kind of, while it used to be space superiority fighter, I think it's lost that title years ago.
Yeah.
And the Misery and the kind of really are missile boats rather than fighters in that regard. So yeah. Stephen Herbert says, any ideas on drones? A couple of ships are dependent on it, like the Carrack. The Carrack's less dependent on it than, say, the Vulcan or the Apollo.
I would say the Apollo is the first one we're going to see that on.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that we saw it in the video that they were talking about it. It's been off and on the roadmap this year, and it's got a drone on it. And if you think about what that drone is, it's essentially just sucks a body into it, and the body kind of fits into an animation, and then it just flies back with the drone. It's not that it's complicated, but it's not as complicated as some of the other drones.
It's not as complicated. It's a drone with a single use rather than a drone that has refuel, rearm, resupply, rip. So it's a lot more.
It's not a salvage hand tool type of drone. It's not a it's got some other moving parts to it. That one's pretty much a beam drone, let's be honest, and then you're kind of done.
And Papa Marlo, thank you for joining us on YouTube membership. Welcome to the family. Awesome. I will say it again. I don't know if we've passed it while we've been streaming, but at the beginning of a stream, we were 7 subscribers away from a magical 16,000 on YouTube.
Algared, Lemming said, so I think he's replying to the guy with the referral here. He says, I would 100% wouldn't apply that and even consider rebuilding it with a normal LTI token. So what was the guy that mentioned that with the MPUV?
That was Dub Coyote.
Yeah, Dub Coyote, jump on the Discord and go into the CCU help channel or into the probably the CCU help channel, and maybe even directly talk with Lemming and he'll go through that with you, or just put a message in there and someone will help you with that. Because I am absolutely wasted right now. Algared's pretty wasted right now, and a lot of the volunteers are really good at that stuff too, and they've all been vetted by me and Algared, so we know. I will even say in some cases they know this better than us now, especially when we're cooked. So
Lemming, I think Lemming is Lemming is our CCU guru. He's the god of CCUs at the moment.
Yeah, he's learned
because he keeps his finger on the pulse.
Yeah,
because we don't do that.
We've got other things to do as well. Not that Lemming doesn't do a lot as well. Like he does a lot. Him and the other mods pretty much run that Discord. So well, not pretty much, they do.
Yeah, they are certainly the heart, body, and soul behind Inforunners. We're the face. They do everything else. Or a good whack of it. So yeah. So yeah, I think with drones, I think you could be right. We'll see a drone that a ship that uses drones, it's only one purpose rather than drones that can be used for multiple things. So, yes, and there are 7 minutes left of IAE. So,
ooh, yeah. All right, let's take that 7 minutes then, Aaron. Let's go have a quick look, and just see if there's anything we can kind of recommend here. I went through personally, and I brought multiples of all the best in show skins and chucked them into buyback for people that may want them down the road or something like that. You know what I mean? Is that now a complete book? Like they've now actually just like
I think it is.
Yeah. Just added to it day after day after day after day. That's kind of cool.
I did like the way they did that.
Yeah.
I just hope they make it so it's actually, you can download the whole thing now and actually have a better read rather than the microscopic read that I was seeing.
So yeah, I think probably for me, if I was in my last 6 minutes, you don't have a lot of time. So for me, it would be the best in show CCUs. If you don't have those, or you've got any inkling for those skins at all, or even someone you might, like a significant other or a friend or something like that, they're the ones I'd probably be looking at. As I said in my guide, I think it was $35 to get all of them. So yeah, but what do we got? The first one up would be a vulture. And I am.
It'd be quicker to type the vulture.
Yeah, I'm thinking that myself. Yeah. So yeah, and the one underneath that one is obviously Prospector is what I recommended at the time. $5 locks in that skin.
And again, you don't have to own a Prospector to buy that skin or buy that CCU.
Yeah. What do we got next? We've got a Corsair. I know that's one of them as well. So, and the one underneath that. Got 5 minutes. I'm going to have to speed this up. So at the time I said, you want to go Raelian because it's $5, but then because the Raelian's going to go up in price, you want to get a Raelian to Defender. So you can get that one with credit, the Raelian to Defender with credit, and then this one's obviously a War Bond for $5. I didn't mention that in the video. In the video, I said just go straight to the Defender, but I was tired. I know you can forgive me for that one. And then we've got the Redeemer. This one I know from memory, I think is also $10. I could be mistaken. So I went to the Eclipse. Yeah, $10. So that actually is the only one that's going to cost you $10. But I also think it's one of the better looking skins personally. Then we've got the 600i Explorer. This one's also $5. And a lot of people think this is the one that will be the most valuable in the future. I don't necessarily agree with that, but you take from it with what you will in regards to that. But yeah, you can literally get those for, sorry, $25 cash now. Actually, it's dropped by $5 because of that little mistake I made there. But yeah, I don't know, Agrid, did you pick any of those up, mate?
No, I get them automatically, so I don't care, and I don't speculate. Well, a lot of people, if they're buying them to speculate and sell them down the track. And
yeah. But what if your niece wants one, or your nephew?
Then they'll miss out.
Oh, wow, he's that type of uncle. Right? We now know the truth.
I'm the mean one.
The mean
Suck
one.
it up, Princess.
Right. I think that's kind of really it. Again, Aristrata, you'd probably be hard pressed to get that now, but yeah, you can get an Aristrata for $410. If you wanted that, or your Polaris for $470 if you use the guide that we had earlier.
Yeah.
I think that kind of covers it up.
Just saying, considering there's only been one server, how do you think CIG are going to handle the bloat of abandoned player land claim? Will this even be an issue, considering the size of planets and moons? Maybe one day it'll be an issue. I imagine that, I don't know.
I think it's really part of the mission system, Margaret. They're going to use players to clean up ships and stuff like that with Salvage. And from what I'm hearing, it's coming down the pipe. According to people in Evocati, we're about to get some pretty cool Salvage gameplay.
I could imagine land claims that have been purchased with cash will kind of be saved or guaranteed. Land claims that were purchased with game credits, like the in-game cash,
Hmm.
they'll just lapse. So, a bit like what happens with housing in MMOs. If you don't pay your fees, your property just gets put into SQ and your house gets claimed.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, another one
it'll be
comes to an
interesting
end.
to see how they handle it.
2 minutes.
Yep.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's been an interesting IA. Not gonna lie. I did, it's always different though, isn't it, Algared? Never
Yep.
never comes out exactly the same as the one before it. There's always something they change.
Yep. And
Um,
and just saying in chat, I thought you'd skip my question, but we
Mm.
didn't. No, we actually go, as we say every week.
yeah.
Our bot pulls the questions and literally puts them in times. We get a timestamp. We're at 5:39 on our questions.
Yeah, so we're like
And
an
because of the
hour
nature of
behind.
Hey, we're not that far behind.
Yeah,
Only an hour and a half.
Only an hour. It's when we're 3 hours
Oh, yeah,
behind.
only
We
an
have to
hour.
rapid
Only an hour.
fire for 45 minutes to get them all done. But yeah.
But because of because our bot does that, and we can go through them in order, it gives us that ability to delve deeper into a question or discuss or go on to our tangents as we want to do. But we do aim to get through every question.
So should I be angry at Rigsy? Rigsy's saying there in Twitch chat he got his Banner Matchman for $250. That's the same price I got it in 2013 on the one day it was ever available. And they said this ship will only ever be available for one day. I was lied to, by the way. But anyway.
Oh, fuck it up, princess.
Yeah. No, good on you, Rigsy. Well done.
But yeah, look, as I said, if you get the ships for less than I pay for them, or less than your original concept price, then great. But to do that with CCUs, it often means you're doing it a multiple year chain. That's delayed gratification to get that price.
Yeah, you got to work hard to get that price. I didn't. I was just there and I brought it. So
yeah.
Yeah. If you
Chris,
can get, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Next question.
Do you have concerns that large ships with crew and engineering support might prove a large power capability gap compared to 1 or 2 players on a big ship with NPCs?
No, we're seeing a lot of content creators do this at the moment. This bit of all scared crew type thing, but wasn't news to me in Algared. You've also got the player rating system, so people aren't going to stuff around because they're not going to want to stuff with your rating. So they're going to, if you come in and you've just got an Aurora and someone goes, hey, I'm looking for people to crew my big, massive Orion, Kraken, Idris, pick your ship, they're going to jump at that because the amount of money they'll earn while they're working with you will buy them their next ship up way easier.
Or moving faster towards that point.
And then we haven't even got into AI, and this is where a lot of people think it's not possible, right? But we also know from what they're planning with AI, it's more advanced than anything we've seen before. And look at all the stuff they've done that was never done before. If I was ever going to give a company a benefit of the doubt, it would be these guys.
Yep. And
that's my short answer, by the way.
And I think we've actually got to make the differentiation between AI, as in AI blades, and AI as in NPCs.
Yep.
And what they're doing with the NPCs and the way the characters have been developed for them is miles ahead of what I've seen anywhere else do.
Yep.
And then the automation of stuff, we're using AI blades. That's, again, a different step as well. So you've got both of those elements that are going to help mitigate those lack of crew. But as you said, you're going to have a rating system. You're going to have people who join you to be on those ships because of the amount you'll be able to earn.
Much like StarCraft as well. StarCraft AI cheats, right? So you can actually, the AI can, they can't physically see like we can, right? But they can tell things are in the world way more efficiently than us. Like, I'm not saying they need to be able to see through the wall, but from a database, they can tell they're in the same room as the fire that's going on.
Yeah.
Right? They can see there's a fire in the database. Oh, that happens to be the room I'm in. Shit, I better go look for the fire, and they can look at the voxel coordinates and know exactly where there is. They're just looking in a different way to us. And so when you look at how it needs to be done, That's essentially what it is. It's the same thing as like real life robots. They have different sensors to us, and they utilize them. Sometimes they have multiple cameras and light radar and temperature sensors and all that type of stuff. It'll be exactly the same going forward in real life with
Yep.
robots. It's the same essential problem. It's
I
just
remember, I think it was John Crew talking about Xeno threat and saying we had to turn them down
yeah,
because they'd kill you.
yeah,
You know, we had to lower their capability down, but otherwise we'd get smashed by them. But yeah. All right. Next question is Easy Lagoon. When was the last time extra game packages turning into customizable NPCs actually officially discussed? Do you recommend buying extra game packages for this purpose?
No, I do not recommend doing it just for that purpose. But roughly it equates to $15. So I have kind of no doubt at some point it'll be at least $15 for an extra character slot. Potentially. Would you agree with that, Algared?
Yeah,
Or
look,
more?
I know they took the ideas from, or Chris was talked about doing things like they did on Guild Wars 2 and and games of that ilk.
Yeah.
And Guild Wars 2, they had a system where you could earn NPCs as you went along, but you could also buy extra character slots.
Yeah.
And you could, once you had an NPC, you could actually use one of your character slots or one of your NPCs in that role.
The problem with someone making a comment like that, like to ask where we heard it, right, is as time has gone by, it used to be everything was on the website. And everything was on the website, and then in a YouTube video with Disco Lando or in Wingman's Hangar or whatever. And as time has gone on and on, there are now things on about 7 different platforms you've got to check: Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, because they can put it in any of their mediums. I've seen things exclusively appear on Twitter that didn't appear anywhere else. And I know a lot of people don't use Twitter, right? So when you ask for something like that, we cannot tell you specifics because we just take in the important information and discard the rest, because otherwise we can't retain it all. It's just not possible.
But in terms of the question,
it's been a while though, yeah.
And therefore, because it's so long ago, it doesn't count. It had been ages since we'd heard Death of the Spaceman talked about.
Yep.
It'd been years since it actually come in and said, "This is how it's going to work." The regen system came out, and it didn't really change how Death of a Spaceman worked at all.
Yeah.
In anything, it just confirmed everything they'd said previously.
Yeah.
Will they do something with customizable NPCs for those people who have those extra packs? Yeah, because they've said they'll do that. So they'll do that. How they'll affect things and what they'll actually do and what extra bonuses they'll give, can't tell you. I can tell you they're going to do it. That's about all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Is it wise to do that? Look, I've bought packages. I've got extra game packages for that purpose. I've got extra game packages because the packages were just too good to pass up.
Hey, I just got a real quick.
You do it?
I got a really quick question for Old Lemon San on Twitter. What's the URL for that place again called? Old Lemon San? What do I type in to go there? It's twitter.com. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye. Right, Algared, you were saying?
Yeah. So, I've got packages that I bought specifically for that. I've got extra game packages I've bought because the packages were just too good a deal.
Yep.
Would I recommend you do it? I really expect that they'll bring out options to buy extra NPCs without a game pack down the back. If you're not sure if that's going to be the case, hedge your bets if you want an NPC.
Right, let's have a look at this. It probably does now. Let's have a look. Right, am I on? Wait, you're on the screen. Right. So let's go x.com. Feels like I'm going to a porn site, just by the way.
Yeah, when you go X, because
Hey, it didn't. Wait, I typed the wrong thing. X.com. Hey, it does go there. Wait, let's try one more. All right, let's try one more. Wait, if I go Twitter. Hey, it's still twitter.com.
Well, there you go. So
all you have to do is call it twitter.com and you're not lying. So yeah.
Yep. So Robert has a question that carries on with this one. He says, when do you think they are going to add NPC crew like showing in some of the videos? It needs to happen soon to make all the med and larger ships better.
I think it's
when they've
probably
got to
more
work
an
it out.
after Squadron 42 question when you say that, Algared. It's
I would imagine once they've got Squadron 42 out, they'll have nailed NPCs to the
and you'll
letter.
probably get basic stuff first, and it'll just build on that. So like you'll probably get a plain Jane NPC, and then what it can do will expand, and then a bit of personality will come in, and just But the rate
But
that we
I
see
can,
everything move now, whether it's AI or any form of gameplay, that's only
Yep.
going to increase as they actually move people over to actually start actively working on Star Citizen.
but you look at games like Star Wars Online, Star Wars Next Gen, the Old Republic, Star Trek Online. Then you've got Guild Wars. Those three games at least, you would have NPC crew or NPC party, and you could swap them out with players or use NPCs. I can see CIG doing something similar because they're games that Chris has looked at. So
AIE is gone, ladies and germs. It is done.
Adieu. So yeah.
It's not.
So will they do it soon? I'll do it when it's ready.
Yeah, it's not on the front.
And I think initially it'll just be the basic party idea, and then you put them into turrets or stuff, and eventually you'd be able to put them into engineering roles, and yeah.
There is the farewell thing there, but I mean the front section on like the main banner on the top page is gone. It's still there if you want to go see it. It's lower down, but like the front part's gone. So yeah.
666 Syndicate says upgraded from Mole to Arastra. And he's doing spelling it the way you say it, Arastra, which is not how it's spelled, but yeah. Was it a good decision as a solo miner?
Yep, and always earn down.
Look, I think it's a great decision. Earn down. You and a couple of mates will be able to do it. You and a couple of NPCs down the track will easily be able to do it. You got the ownerships for it.
If you can't eat this week, then it was a bad decision. But yeah, as long as you had the money, it was a good decision.
If you had the money, it was something you wanted to do. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the cuddles says, is a dropship type module a possibility? One to drop ground vehicles. For which ship?
Yeah, need context there, mate. Who asked that question, Algared, just so they can get them to re-ask
That was
it?
all the cuddles. Is a dropship type module
Twitch or
a
YouTube?
possibility?
Twitch or YouTube?
YouTube.
All right, keep an eye open on that.
I will endeavour to keep an eye open on that. So yeah, look, any module is a bonus, depending on the ship. But yeah, we need more context for that. Which ship are you talking about? And Arthur Vanderlee on YouTube, thank you for that $7.99 coffee donation. I'm assuming it's a coffee donation.
You need a lot more donations if they're drinking your coffee.
Oh hell yeah! Well, I didn't even get a shoe-in chance for that $1,300 a kilo coffee. Didn't even make the pre-order. It was gone within a day. Back in the day.
Look at the notes page in the program. All right, they want me to look at. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Wait, so the notes page in the program. Oh, download now. All right, okay, let's download this, and while it loads, I'll flick over.
Yep. And while you're doing that,
wait, hang on. Let me. The notes page. Notes day 13.
Notes from the editor.
All right. So is this?
It's kind of like a special jump point.
Whoa! People that didn't like the white before are not going to like it now.
Help me.
Epileptic fit. No, I got a friend that actually has that. I shouldn't joke about that. It's actually scary if you've. I was actually in a car with him, and he hadn't had one in 7 years, and he had one in front of me, and I was like, "Holy!" And I'd never seen him have one.
Yeah.
And it was all right though. I pulled the car over to the side of the road, and he went, "What are you doing?" I said, "Just had a fit." It's like, "No, it didn't." Like, "Yeah, you did." I said, "I bet your hand's all tight now." And he's like, "Yeah, it is." How? What? Oh. Then he realized.
Yeah.
Right. The notes page. I assume this is what they're talking about here. What are we looking at?
I don't know.
They said there's a bike. See a bike?
Bike?
A bike. That's what they say. There's a bike.
Je ne sais pas.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, let me get rid of this other screen. What are they talking about? The drawing on. Oh wait, it says the page is torn. The drawing of the bike, bottom left corner. All right, let's have a look. Bottom left corner. Oh, yeah, it is. Look, no, there is a bike, Hagrid. Look, see the black part? Yeah.
Yep. And that's torn. Yep.
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 Yep. Have you seen the short on our YouTube channel? Maybe we should watch that real quick, Hagrid. What do you reckon? We'll go to our YouTube channel. It's like people don't watch our content. That's fine. I had an exclusive leak that I put as a short. First short we ever did.
Yep. We've got a short.
Yeah, only one we've ever had. I'll play it for you now. Here we go. G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Thank you today for joining me today for this short. I'll make this very quick. We're basically hearing reports that if you've seen this from the Talking Ship panel video of the ships that are upcoming in the next 12 months, apparently it's been reported that it's by Mirai and it's actually called the Pulse Hoverbike. Look forward to seeing it in game soon. Thanks for joining me today. Bye. Very good. It's already these guys are really good, Algared. I don't know if you've heard of these guys. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, I remember one of those guys was saying, "Oh, we need to do a show on this. We need to do a show on this."
Yeah.
And the other guy said, "Just do a short. Just do a short."
You did. I'll give you that one.
You know, so that's why we did a short.
Yeah, because it wasn't enough information to do one show. Where the hell did the thing go? There it is. That.
Yep.
Looks similar, Algared. You
similar,
can almost see the yeah, I'd say that's the same one. And it's the other thing I would also notice is notice how it's actually got what appears to be Chinese lettering.
Yep. Mirai.
Yeah, Mirai Pulse.
Yep, there you go.
So yeah, I don't know. You guys correct me if you think I'm wrong there, but yeah, Mirai Pulse.
Now, just looking at that safe cloud view center, does this give you a sense that it could be that YouTuber's book, you know, and that she survived the Ninetales invasion of Crusader? Just thing out there. Even though it was a different location. Anyway, T-Jack, let's nip this in the butt once and for all. With the Tier 2 Medbed retain its ability to will the Tier 2 Medbed retain its ability to respawn, albeit lesser than a Tier 1? Keep in mind Farad explorations and what it entails. Don't know.
No, they literally said that only Tier 1 will do respawn.
So there you go. So yeah. So based on that,
temporary. It's just temporary at the moment.
Well,
think about how temporary it was for the Cutlass Red. It was to give us a feature so we had a way to respawn and make it easier to play. That's why you can do it on Carracks and any other
at the moment
because there is no option to have a ship that
and
890 jumps because there's no option to currently no option to respawn in game otherwise. And once the Apollo goes in, I think you'll find that the others will lose it. Yep. So yeah, they're not going to have it. But there's a siege.
They'll be able to do better healing.
Wait, hang on. Hang on. People are saying there was a Siege of Origin video that dropped. Let's refresh and have a look. Nope. I didn't see no Siege of Origin. Right. How could you were saying? Sorry.
Part 3?
No.
I know.
I've kind of no.
Marley goes to part 3.
Let's start talking about this part because there was a Siege of Origin thing here. Let's look at this. Is there a video in this? They're probably talking about this. They changed how Dooley looked. She's different.
Yep. She's been updated.
Yeah, she's got a more, but before it was just one of the other faces. Now it's a bespoke face. So yeah.
She's got the coat that everyone likes.
Yeah. Let me have a look. Let's have a quick look at this. I don't.
Hey.
Very
yeah, it's just the one from before. Or is this new?
She's very
1 year
Moldrish
ago.
now.
Yeah, we've seen that already. We don't need to watch that.
Did you notice?
Sorry, what?
Dooley. She's very Moldrish. Tie, trench coat.
I didn't actually. Anyway. Right, next question, please, bud.
Death Factor. Do you think they'll run the same Valk War Bond discount during Invictus? I missed a chain because I assumed they wouldn't be removed, but strangely, CIG just removed it too during the final.
It's
Maybe.
it's random, dude. It's completely utterly random.
If we knew beforehand, we'd be gods, but we're not.
Yeah, would be having it all. Like, I'd pre-make all those videos, and I wouldn't be as tired as I am, and it'd make my life a lot easier, to be honest. But they just don't do it that way.
We wouldn't spend half an hour each day going through looking at the CCUs and trying to work out what your best chain is.
And we also try to get it out as quick as possible because we know you guys. Well, especially now, it was like, well, we've only got 1 day to buy them all, so I've got to get there.
Yeah, so we bust our gut to get them out on time, just so to make sure everyone's got as much time as they can. But yeah, it's if we could do it, if we were gods, man, would it be easier? Hell yeah. Chabawaki says, loving the 2 tractor beams on the Caterpillar. Do you guys still think it's the best daily driver? It's a very good bloody ship. And I hate Drake, and it's probably the best Drake ship.
Which one?
Apart from maybe the Cutter. Which is the
Cutter,
most un-Drake.
The Caterpillar. You're talking about the
Yeah.
Caterpillar? Actually, that came up on a podcast with Space and Paul yesterday and Loken. Because it was the discussion I had with them about the command module popping off
module
and using the tractor beams to reload it actually came up. And Space we'd talked to Space about it since as well, and he's like, it's totally changed his perspective on that ship.
Yeah,
because it's crazy good now.
I've sometimes said the modularity that's supposed to be with the Caterpillar makes it a poor man's Endeavour. And I know it sounds weird because it's so much more expensive than Endeavour, but
it's those little realizations though that change the whole thing, right? Because he was talking about the 315p and using it to reload ships, and it tripped a thing in my head, which then tripped a thing in his head, and then you know what I mean? Like, and that's that reason why we do speculation together, isn't it? That's that strength of why we do that. That's influencing each other and changing each other's minds that we were talking about way back at the beginning of this stream. Yeah,
and that goes back to why we want to pull we try to constantly pull other people into the Inforunners family. It widens that ability to speculate and do stuff, and then also that cross pollination between channels just
helps everyone,
helps each other. So yeah, so yes, it's a very good shit. Primal Atom says,
"Hey, Algared, I'm going to turn off the bot because I'm pretty sure I got more than 40 minutes of questions."
Yep.
Unless you got a problem with that.
Nope.
Right. Bot's dead.
No more questions.
There's now like 3 pages of questions to go, so I think we're going to be fine.
All right. Primal Atom, what will be the good top-level bounty hunting ship once we have those prison cells working? One with prison cells?
I think the only one we've kind of got right now is the Polaris with the bounty hunting cells. I guess you could say the Idris, but I think that's a bit too big, don't you think?
Yeah. The Zeus MR.
Yep. I think that's probably the best all-rounder we've got at the moment.
Yep.
Personally. You know, and it looks like you're getting regular suit lockers and heavy armor suit lockers in that as well. And I think that's a big important factor because it leans into the whole on-foot chase investigation element with the hand scanning and all that we've seen them talk about. Where I think other ships that don't have those makes them exclusively essentially vehicle locked, and you can't take heavy armor, so therefore if they've got heavy armor you're instantly at a disadvantage, as in the enemy you're attacking if they've got heavy armor.
100%. Plenty already.
Holy shit, hang on, Algared. Someone just dropped a shit ton of
they did.
Old Lemon Sand said 10 tier 1 subs to Inforunners community. Thank you, Old Lemon Sand. And they went to Wardell, Basten, Eric Holick 17, Verdi Gristle SC, Ace Tweaker, Grey Duck, Jolly Pop, Nolly Ruff, and Cindy Sanderson. It sounds like Debbie Does Dallas or something. Anyway, and
Oh,
Black Oil Prime. Make sure you thank old Lemon Sun for that, and thank you, Lemon Sun. Never required, mate, but
yeah,
very much
never
appreciated.
expected, required, or otherwise, but always appreciated.
Yeah.
Lenny Aurelius says, with base building becoming a more tangible reality, how has the value proposition of a galaxy changed ever since your last video about it from last year?
It's just another module. It hasn't changed. It's still that
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife, is it not, to you, Algared?
If the Caterpillar is a poor man's endeavor because of its modularity and that ability for the cab to be pulled off, the Galaxy is the middle of a road version because it's got the modularity and
you got to imagine there's strengths and weaknesses to both, because essentially that command module is really strong. It's like a freelancer without the cargo bay on it, but by the same token, you've now got the ability to Swiss Army knife the shuttle on the back of the Galaxy. So they're yin and yang to each other. Like, you've literally got the big bit, and then the little bit is the snub that changes. You know what I mean? And then they click together. So it is literally, they are literally yin and yang. And I'd imagine pretty much the modules you get on, probably with the exception of cargo, Algared, maybe medical potentially, but I would say most of the modules are not on both of them, but between the two of them, they cover
and
80% of the spectrum.
And why would you do that? Because then you're likely to buy both.
Yep, that's it.
You know, so
yep, and let's never say never. There's no reason they can't chuck a third one in the mix.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know. Let's what do you got? You've got RSI. We could have a mini Endeavor, literally. You know?
From RSI. Yeah. Hey, we decided we're going to screw over these guys as well.
What would you call it? Columbia. Endeavor, Columbia, and Pathfinder's already taken. So they're the shuttles, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So that's what I would call it. The MISC Columbia. Unless you think that's a bad name.
No.
Would that work for you? Oh, anything will do. All right, so we're calling it the Algara.
The Aragatasis, yeah.
No, I said it wrong. It's
Guy in the Eames Lounge chair says, when do you think CIG will update us on the BMM when it's ready? Is the progress tracker accurate, showing 2 teams assigned currently?
Wow, really? Wow. Let's check that.
Progress tracker usually is up to date.
Was it? It's RSI, and then it's Rob Space Engines, and it's Roadmap, isn't it?
Yeah, for 2 teams working on it at the moment, they're probably doing some stuff on it. So yeah, but they'll tell us when they're ready. And I wish we were gods and could tell you otherwise, but yeah.
Mere mortals.
We are mere mortals.
We
have to troll through the info just like you guys.
Merchantman. 5 teams. Holy shit. But there's nothing there. Oh, wait. For a year? Nothing.
So 5 teams. Well, it needs 5 teams. Are they allocated yet?
It just says, oh, there we go. 97 weeks. Building, balancing, and implementing. But there's nothing there.
Yep.
You sure this is not an old thing that's passed? Let's go to teams. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I'm sure there's people in chat screaming at me right now.
Possibly.
Nope. Yeah. That's it. Am I doing something wrong?
It would be nice to have, one of the people in YouTube chat says that it would be nice to have a mini Endeavor that use the Endeavor modules, but not as many. Yes,
that's a cool idea, actually. Yeah, that is a cool idea. So instead of like 3, it's probably only got 2 or something like that.
Or 1 or something like that, yeah.
That's actually not a terrible idea. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea that, I could see the Endeavor following the hull series where it's a compact type, concertina type hull as time goes on. But
do you know, I actually was theorizing, I kind of get delirious lately. You know how we talked about a light carrier that was just like 2 medium platforms and you could transfer cargo between the 2?
Yep.
A whole series, but it folds out. Instead of 4 panels to put the cargo on, it's just 2 giant panels and you land on it. So it's like a variant of the whole C, but it's you land on it and transfer it, yeah. So it's
Yeah,
it's not a
okay.
light carrier. It's a transfer platform essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically a Covalex shipping hub.
The whole T makes itself. There you go.
Basically as a because you'd need. If you think of what the Covalex shipping hub is, it's that massive station for transferring stock and stuff. But if you haven't built one of those yet, you'd need something to actually.
I wonder if they can get it sponsored by Mr. T, and they can go, "I pity the fool," and pity the fool that delivers my cargo. Yeah.
Yep. Pressure. Do you guys think the BMU has a price jump to come? Of course it does. It's not out yet.
Yeah.
And do you think it will? And do we think it will settle? I think it'll settle around the price of an 890 jump.
I think we can. Sorry, just come back to this for a second. I don't see anyone working on anything there, so I don't think, unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. Please tell me. But yeah, that doesn't look like there's anything.
From what you were looking at, I couldn't see it either.
Yeah. So yeah.
Question: what do you call a pirate miner?
Yeah. Arg.
Arrasta.
Arrasta. I had a few people say that it's a pirate miner.
Yeah, that's why. It's an Arrasta. Steve Martin says, I have a CCU chain to a Hull D with an Orion CCU and an Arrasta CCU. That costs the same. Should I keep the Orion or the Arrasta? I don't know.
I would go with the Orion. Because it's going to be worth more at the end of the day, and you can earn down to the Arrastra. I think that would be the answer, Algared, unless you think different.
But he's going to a Hull D, so.
I have a CCU chain to a Hull D with an Orion CCU and an Arrastra CCU to continue the same. So essentially, he's going from the Hull D to an Arrastra, or from a Hull D to an Orion.
I thought it was Orion to the Hull D, or Arrastra to the Hull D.
The whole D's behind both of them.
Okay. I'd stick with the Orion then.
Yep. All right. Sorry. Algared and I are both tired, if we haven't said 75 times already today.
Yeah. And if we've got it back to front, let us know in chat, Steve.
You want to see mistakes made, today's going to be the day. All right. That's why this is called full lazy mode stream, because we were like, baked. We're just going to wing it. Yeah.
Serious Jack. Do you think the Reclaimer will go up in price with the munching being added?
That's a really good point. Shit, Sal's gone now too late. I did actually want to mention this on stream today. Yeah, I really do think with the munching coming, that ship is due to jump at some point. It's
too big a ship.
I still think, by the way, and I'm just going to put this out there. Remember what I said about the expedition? Right. Knowing what John Crew did to Space Tomato, I still think he might be trolling me. We'll see though. He could possibly be trolling me. So don't, my tinfoil hat theory on that thing, don't leave that out. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to, because his excuse was like, tell me this is not a shit excuse. Chris Roberts said the color name was too cool to put on Snub. The Pisces is a pretty cool name. The Merlin's a pretty cool name. The Archimedes is a pretty cool name. The Fury is a pretty good name.
Yes, but he wanted it for another ship. Look,
I think he was
could be
trolling me. So just for people that didn't know, Space Tomato was talking to John Crew. He goes, "Oh, so you doing any panels today?" This is at CitizenCon. He goes, "You doing any panel guys?" And he goes, "No." 5 minutes later, he was on stage. He was like, that's the ultimate troll. No, I'm not doing anything. And then literally there 5 minutes later. But anyway, right.
Snub Gaming in YouTube says, "I want a Fury." But when I first read it, I said, I read it as, "I want a fairy."
Actually, speaking of which, that's a good reminder. We do have to do the Fury giveaway.
We do have a Fury giveaway.
So make sure people you've liked, subscribe, and we should do that now, Algared. Why I'm thinking of it, because I've got to do that thing where I go into the video and grab all that shit, don't I? Oh god.
Hey,
let's hope it's not like last time.
We're at 16k.
Oh, nice. We hit it.
So
good.
Thank you guys.
Stuff. Yeah, thank you for the extra subs. Right.
16,015 to be precise. I just went and had a look.
Damn. Really? Just while we've been
Yeah.
doing this? Ah.
Yeah. So awesome. Thank you, guys.
Wow. That's 1,500 in the last 28 days. That's bananas.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
They do love us. Ducks.
What's the shit? Now I don't remember which one it was on, Algared.
I don't know either.
It was the Arastra's Buyers Guide, I think it was.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was this one. Misconception and Miracles. I'm pretty sure it was this
Yep.
one.
That does sound about right.
Just say Fury giveaway in the title, so that
There
kind
you
of gives
go.
it away.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, all right. Well, while you do the next question, Algared, I'm going to do this YouTube
You're going to get that up and ready?
Yeah, that takes me 10 minutes.
Brilliant 1043 says, what do you think of the idea of a modified Orion becoming a mine-dropping capital that can create a large area minefield with different levels of mines from fighter to capital?
Never say never.
Exactly. Never say never, but
Highly
personally
unlikely.
unlikely.
Yeah.
Never say never.
That'd
I think
more
if we
likely
say never,
build
say
it.
never,
That'd be
it's not
more.
saying,
Wouldn't that be more of a combat ship from like Aegis or Anvil
Yep.
or something like that? Yeah.
but never say never. Wolf 1916 Meat says, everything over what cost comes with LTI automatically $1,000?
Yes.
Hawkeye, we know the medium fabrication vehicle is a vehicle because of the Atlas. The Arista
Yes.
vehicle bay looks big enough to hold this vehicle. If so, if this is the case, would this justify the cost? What, of the Arista?
They have
No.
not confirmed yet the size of vehicles that you can have in that bay. It's 2 rocks, but we also know that there are other considerations like pads and shit like that, right? So the example is you can technically fit a Caterpillar on a Kraken, but it's 2 medium pads, so therefore the Caterpillar can't be refueled or resupplied. So there are consequences to that. Could you fit it in there? Absolutely. But could it possibly fly around when you fly it upside down? Absolutely. You know, so that's a tough.
Yeah.
We have to wait.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
And in answer to the question, does that justify the cost of the Astra? No. No. Just because it's got that functionality does not mean it's worth jacking up the price. No. That's an insane proposition to put.
Yeah.
It's like the insane pricing of a Phoenix because it's got more functionality. Oh, we've put the price up because it's got all this stuff.
Well, it's like the
Oh,
Arastra itself, Algared. Like,
straight off the cash.
how is the Arastra better valued than the Reclaimer? The Reclaimer is bigger in every single way, and it's the same. Like, it's a capital. The Arastra is only a large, and yet look how much cheaper it is.
Yeah, it boggles my mind. Nova 42. If my CCU chain has multiple CCUs with my 10-year insurance, does the 10-year insurance stack? No. But if you have a CCU chain that has a 10-year insurance plus an LTI insurance, the higher insurance takes precedent. Solu Sadar. It's my first IAE. I've been. Well, thank you. I'm glad to know it's been your first IAE. I hope it was beneficial for you. I hope we were able to help you out. He goes down and he says, my question is, it's my first IAE CCU chain and I need a Mustang to M50 chain. Any chance Luminalia small ship war bonds? Never say never.
Yeah, but more likely you're going to be waiting to Invictus, mate.
But if you're after combat ships, more likely Invictus. Yeah, in fact, Luminalia is generally...
Algared, I can't even find this person's comment. Like, look, it's not... So you know how I normally put it in here?
Yep.
And... no comment.
Yep. Have I been held for review?
Have I done the wrong video? Let me just double check. No, because I copied it from here, didn't I? Sorry, guys, but yeah. Algared, do the next question. I'll take care of this. Sorry to interrupt.
See if you've got it in held for review or something like that.
Yeah, I'll check.
Vandia says, when you compare how the how Eve works and how Star Citizen is going, do you think we'll see? We've done that one, and the answer was most likely. Gay Goose says, do you think there will be a price increase on the Reclaimer? We've answered that one. The answer was yes.
Yeah.
Promal Moz question, do you think that they will do this from now on as a way to make... So, do you think they will do this as a way now on as a way to make money and give FOMO? And they're talking, I believe, the way CCUs got done for this, possibly. Certainly makes doing CCU chains harder. Ball bouncers. That was just someone else, I'll ignore that. Hook 2005 says, do you think anyone will complain about ship reworks? Like if someone prefer the old model, or they just have to suck it up? I think they'll just have to suck it up.
No, they'll just do a CCU upgrade system that they talked about with the example like we have with the Mark II.
So while they do upgrades at the moment, we just have to suck it up. But down the track, you would be able to buy a CCU to that ship and keep the old one if you liked, and that would give you, I've got a Model T Ford. Yeah, so what? I've got that type of thing. Yeah. T-Jack, I think you guys should put out a warning video to guys with a fleet full of light fighters when Bounties version 2 comes. What do they plan to do with their criminals? Strap them in the back. Look, bounty hunters who need to if you need to bring a prisoner in alive, those people with light fighters are going to need to buy a Hawk, or buy a bigger ship.
What the hell is going
on? Nova 42, great question. Once all ships are brought up to standard, I hope future reworks change the Mark II models and don't outright replace the previous ones. We live in hope. Eventually they'll do that, but at the moment we don't know what we're going to do. Do you think this is Zero? Do you think CIG should step in to control ban toxic plagues, or do you think the game should be open to allow players to deal with it themselves in game? CIG have said they would talk about it. I remember Chris talking about one day having basically having an area where they'd just be toxic players would just end up finding themselves. Whether he was being realistic at that point. I do know they've also got they did want their council, or the advocacy type council, where you could bring complaints and be solved. Should CIG ban them? They probably will. While we're in this stage, all the toxic behaviour they get to see, and they go, yeah, we're going to work out how we're going to deal with that, and we're going to work out how we're going to deal with that. At the moment, nothing matters.
Okay, so we've got a winner. It is Robert Schumacher. He is a subscriber.
So congratulations, Robert Schumacher.
Reach out to Algared or myself via Discord, and we'll get that Fury shipped off to you ASAP.
Given that you've got the ship, it would be probably better to reach out to you.
Yeah, but I'm tired, so I make mistakes. Yeah, reach out to me, please, via Discord.
Because otherwise, I've got to reach out to X and say, "Hey, this person gets the ship."
Yeah, they're on.
That's two steps where we could make mistakes.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. If you're here on the stream today, like you reach out right now, we'll also give you a skin, if you of your choice from the store. But if you are not here, then you just get the ship. So yeah.
Yep. Nada Pritz, do you think the Polaris is too cheap compared to the Idris and their capabilities? No, it's probably about price. It's probably priced right compared to what it is.
There's no context there. What ships is he talking about?
Do you think the Polaris is too cheap compared to the Idris?
No, it's way smaller. Let's look at the ship scale image. This really puts things in a lot of perspective for a lot of people.
Yep.
Let's go over here. Like there's an Idris. Well, shit. There's an Idris, and there's a Polaris. Actually, I see what he's talking about now. But still, it is a lot smaller. You also got to remember it's Dorito.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's roughly. Would you say it's roughly half the size? I think that's.
Yeah, it's about half the size.
Yeah. We also can't see height as well. so it could
Yep.
be not as tall. So yeah,
Yeah, Vidrus is certainly a tall boy.
yeah.
And we know its middle deck is basically just full length
I would
hangar
say
ship.
rotund. He just is very rotund. It's very drum-like because of the hanger, but yeah.
But tonnage is huge.
Mm.
BMM or Hull D? I like the BMM more, but I think the Hull D will bring in more money. This is a bit of a type of question Hayes would have loved.
Yeah, Hayes would be better at that one than almost any of us.
Um,
I personally prefer the banner match, man. I think it's bigger.
Well,
I think you can have a bit more variety of gameplay. This is almost like the Orion versus Aristrata.
didn't Hayes have almost an equal number of both?
I'd have to ask him. It's been a while
Like I know
since
he
I
had a
was-
whole ton of Hull Ds,
Hmm.
and I'm pretty certain he had a whole ton of Hull Ds as well.
Yep.
But I can also remember him talking about having BMMs as the escort ships because of the gunpowder and you know it can haul cargo as well as do the other stuff. But yeah, it would be that's certainly in his wheelhouse, that question. I'd probably still go with BMM.
Yep.
Internal stability, security for your cargo rather than external. Misto, we don't hear much on NPC crews. Do you think it will be one of the last things they implement before going into beta? They'll do it when they're ready, and hopefully they'll get it done. I know, and I think it's more likely to be done after Squadron, because they'll use all the information and all the stuff they're using in Squadron to flesh those out. Trained Man Monkey. How long do you think it will be before we have roads on planets and moons? We discussed river tech being used for that, but we have heard nothing about it since.
Yeah, not needed for Squadron would be my response. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know when they're done. We know that the tech they've got for it would easily work for roads. We know they've done stuff to help navigation, AI navigation or NPC navigation in vehicles and stuff. And I think that would the roads that they need that for them to be able to navigate roads as well. But yeah, we'll see it when it's here. A henny penny or henny pen. If I have a CCU of a BIS ship, I will get a skin. If you apply the skin, yes, you'll get the skin.
If you apply the CCU,
or do I need to convert into an actual ship? So, yes.
There's two ways you can do it. You can apply that CCU, or you can have the ship. Yeah.
Mio Daddy, has CIG ever discussed their plans for ship sales after the game releases? Will things continue as normal, or will ship sales be a lot more limited, i.e. only starter ships? I thought originally they talked about removing a lot of the stuff off the market.
Yeah, I think new ships will just keep coming,
but I think new ships will keep coming, because it's too good a funding aspect of the game. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. My gut says they'll keep it going. Trained Man Monkey, how long do you think until we get roads connecting stations on planets? They discussed river tech being again.
You read that one.
Too soon is not soon enough. Henny Pen, since we're talking about speculation, will the Odyssey go up in price? Yes. Even though it's comparable to the Carrack. It's a bigger ship than the Carrack. I made the mistake of thinking the Odyssey and the Carrack were kind of similar size. And we were doing it, we were discussing a show, and you said, no, well, look at the hangars. And it was like, oh. And then it was, look at the size of a ship. And you pulled them up on the map, and it was like, oh my goodness gracious me. The Odyssey dwarfs the Carrack. It's a totally different class of ship.
Yep.
So of course it's going to go up in price.
Yeah.
It's gonna be way more than the Carrack.
Yeah. What at that price point? What, $660, at least $100? You'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I reckon easy because it's such a bigger ship.
Yeah.
That staggered me when we pulled it up on the ship viewer, and it was just based on the size that we'd been given.
Mm.
And you look at I think you look at the components, and the components are even bigger. It was just, yeah. It did change my view of it significantly. Nova 42. I have a 600i name in mind, and it is one character too long to fit the 32 character limit. Do you think there is a chance I could get it changed to a 33 character? No.
Not
I
a
think
chance.
the idea will say, no, it's stuck. That's the limit you got. Stefan Herbert says, will MISC eventually have some competition in the heavy hauling department from other manufacturers? Possibly. Well, I would say that the Banu give them competition. The 600i was once a hauling ship, but basically filled a gap in the UEE, but it didn't have enough haulers. So Origin will fill in that gap at one point. So we also know that the I was going to say the Galaxy, not the Galaxy, the stuff, the people but the
Genesis
the
Starliner.
stuff there, the Miss Galaxy was. I was going to say that's one, but it's going to a Miss ship. They just have
Miss Galaxy. Sorry.
Not the Galaxy, not the Miss Galaxy. The
You mean Genesis Starliner, the people transport.
Starliner. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Starliner. Is it the Galaxy Starliner?
No, it's the Genesis Starliner.
Genesis Starliner. I knew it was a good.
Yeah, I know what I mean.
But yeah, you know, but that's again a Miss ship. But then you've got the whole. You've got Crusader ships. They're into heavy hauling as well. I could see that. Hell, if you look at a javelin's into heavy hauling as well. If you put it cargo, you know, it modules all its cargo. So we'll have to wait and see.
So this is let me link this to me. This is the funding. So we've clearly got a much bigger November month there than the year before, and we've still got December to go.
Yeah.
And we know there's an event coming in December. But even if you just copy and pasted, look how far back you can go. You could almost copy. There's very few ones. You've got to go quite back a fair way to find a small December month that wouldn't work. And I would say, what's that? 20. I'm just going to zoom in here. 2016. You'd have to go back to 2016 to get a December that wouldn't make this year bigger than last year. So I'm pretty sure they're going to keep their streak.
But I don't think it would matter if they, didn't, if they were under that last, not as much as last year. Would it matter?
Yeah, hang on, 2 secs. I think I'm doing the giveaway stuff. Lemming found the thing.
Yep.
So what was the question again? Sorry.
It wasn't a question. I was just saying it wouldn't matter if they don't make their, beat last year's funding.
All right, just letting the winner know that they won our grid. So.
Yep. McDamage says, question, is the Zeus going to be worth a buy? Your opinion, of course. I can't answer this question because...
What was the... Sorry.
Is the Zeus worth a buy? Is it worth buying?
Are you into a cargo exploration or bounty hunting? If not, no. If yes, possibly.
And I can't answer because I've got it, so...
Yeah. But that's the short answer, is it not, Algared?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it worth it? Yeah, but any ship can be worth it if you're really into it, though, isn't it? That the answer as well. So,
if you like the ship and you fly the ship, or you like the ship and you like the look, any ship can do it. Did you find this is the K9 Music says? Did you find there was less interest in the Sulian? Less interest in the Sulian than expected. I feel like the hype for it went away too quick.
I didn't realize I was on screen. Damn it. Didn't know I was doing that. Oh, well. Still doing it. Jeez, what the hell's wrong with me? Anyway, right, there we go. And all started. Great timing.
I'm back.
You're back. What was the question again? Sorry.
Do you think the Sulian hype went away too quick?
It's not the best starter for a new person, is it? Right? You know, it's not a good starter. It's a very combat-focused starter. It's essentially like the next step past an Avenger. You're giving away cargo to get even more combat. Do I think it'll speak to some people? Absolutely, because there are people that just love combat. I've got a friend that when he saw it, now he just fell instantly in love with it. You know, he knows what I do on the channel. He doesn't really play. He's dabbled in Star Citizen, as in he wants to play it, but he's never brought into it.
Yep.
And he wants to take the leap. So that kind of
and
I think it's a really good starter ship to show people off, to encourage them to get into the game. It's that alien difference. It really does feel alien.
There are some people for whom that ship will just absolutely speak to, and the uniqueness of the flying model, the quirkiness of it, it'll just draw them in.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even that it's alien, just the fact that it's cool and different, kind of like the Reliant did when it came out. People were like, oh, that's so different, and the whole thing, like the Slave 2 from Star Wars. So
and the Apoa, the Starfighter, can't remember the name, it's gone blank. But all of those ships that are unique in their changing and flight model or anything will appeal to people. Do I think the hype went away too quickly? No, because it was right at the beginning. It was just before IAE. We knew that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
So yeah. Carl Hinton says, do you guys feel we'll see further ships coming out for the Salvage gameplay loop? Yep.
Absolutely. I think there's one right in the middle there, don't you, Algared? Between the Vulture and the Redeemer, and it'll probably have the laser cutter but not have the claw, or not have the processing essentially of the Reclaimer. So gains things over the Vulture but loses things off the Reclaimer.
So Darth Paulvin says, will the Arastra be a loner for the Orion? It all depends on if it comes out before the Orion.
Yeah, pretty sure it would if it came out first.
Yep. Zendrake007, do you think the Zeus MR will be a valid option for a mainly solo bounty hunter?
Yes and
mainly
no.
Solo?
Yeah, yes and no. But you'd probably want
Depends how often you're mainly solo.
You'd probably want to have some AO on the turrets, NPCs on the turrets or something like that. Depends what you run into. Are you really good at avoiding people, outflying people, or are you going to be in the heat of the thick of the combat, and again, that needs to be tailored a little bit more to you specifically, so that's a hard one to answer. Yeah.
Question, have you looked at the Liberator next to the Arastra? They have a similar shape. So do you think they might be working on the Liberator?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Penny Pen says, is there always an LTI token type ship for sale? I wonder about buying a cutter 2-pack to save for later, or just buy whatever's available at the time.
I wouldn't buy packs, I'd just buy 2 scouts. I think you'd agree
Unless
with that. Packs are generally lock you in too much. I'm just not a fan of. They're not worth the extra. The $5 to $10 you would save is not worth the extra stress.
The stress only comes if you decide you need to melt, because if you got
But you never have to melt if you don't have any packs.
Yep.
And that's my point. Yeah.
Oh no, you may still need to melt if you go individually. But if you CQ your ship,
but you know what I mean. It's safer.
And then you decide to change your mind.
Yeah, it's easier to change your mind. Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's less of a hassle because you've only got one to do. If you've CC'd both ships in that pack, and you change your mind, you have to redo the whole pack. So look, I've got a 2948 Explorer pack. I CC'd all the ships bar the Carrack into Endeavours and Crucibles and Reclaimers. Now, the order of ships, I'm happy with the ships. I don't want to change those ships at all. I want those ships. But when I look at that pack and another pack that I've got that I've CC'd.
Oh, and we lost him. Give him a second, he'll be back. what I'm doing here, Algared, is just setting up.
Mhm.
a
I'll just
comparison.
wait until I'm back.
You're back.
Yep, I can see what you're doing.
Yeah, back.
So even though I've got those 2 packs and I've CC'd the ships, and I wish I would have liked to have split the ship choices so I spread up evenly across the packs.
Mm.
Now, I applied those CCUs because it was when those getting rid of the $0 CCUs. Now, if I undo those CCUs, if I melt those packs and buy them back, I'd have to redo the whole lot again. And that's every ship I'd have to redo. And that's the problem with packs. Once you've CCU'd and applied the CCUs, if you need to undo it, you've got to do the whole lot again. Whereas if it's a single ship, you decide, I want to undo that CCU.
Mm.
It's just one ship that you've got to do, not a whole pile. And that's the problem with packs. They
So-
can give you saving and help, but
Generally avoid packs. They long story short, they cause more problems than they solve. And there are unforeseen things with packs, right? So you just, if you want the stress free, just don't do packs. They can save money, but generally it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I think we only ever found 2 instances ever where that was incorrect. So on a percentage basis, Algared, you'd have to say packs are generally
on a
a bad
percentage
idea.
basis, if you're after ease,
Yeah.
no packs make it easier.
Yeah.
That's a short
All right.
and curly of it.
So I want to talk about this because I found this really interesting, Algared, and I thought you might find this interesting as well. So I've just chucked the Aristrata in there for that person. The Liberator in there for the person that was talking about the Aristrata. But really what I want to talk about is the Aristrata versus the Orion, right?
Yep.
And I did this poll during the week, right? And I tried to put a picture in there, but I almost think people haven't seen it. But basically, one of these 2 ships costs 11.54% more than the other. Which one would you choose? And 57% said the Aristrata.
Yep. Personally, my answer is why not both? The correct answer.
But if you can only have one,
well, I'd go the Orion, but
yeah, same here.
I'm saying, but
Is that, I don't know, and I guess I could put that out to chat, but I also put it out to you, Algared. Do you think that's a bit of the hype? People jumped on the new shiny, or
I think it's twofold. I think it's jumping on the new shiny, but also the fear mongering from those who say, "Oh, you won't be able to crew them."
yeah,
So it's that crew, and the fear of
yeah,
how am I going to do engineering and how am I going to do power management, and they're legit concerns, because every ship's going to have that problem.
because you can also go the other way. Like, let me do this. Look, this one, and like, this is a $400 ship.
Yeah.
And that is a $575 ship. That's $175 difference. If I said the Aristrata was $600, that's literally it's a third cheaper.
Yeah.
It's 33.33 recurring % off.
Yeah, which is
I just can't justify that, right?
And
I know it's not mining, but I'm just trying to give you a comparison, right? Because you can also say the same comparison here, because these 2 are the same price as well.
Yeah.
But you look at these 2 ships and tell me which one would you prefer. Now, I know they're different roles and stuff, but they are essentially the same size. And you got to remember, technically, the Reclaimer is a capital as well, because it's got capital components. I think this was all size 3s when I looked at the specs. I think this may have one on it. I'd have to go check again.
When I looked at Aristrata, there were no capital components on it.
Yeah, I'd have to look at this one again. I think it may have been updated after the fact, but it's been a while since I looked at the Liberator. Yeah. That's what speaks to different people, obviously, right? If you've got the money and you buy every ship under the sun, go Aristrata. It definitely does look cooler. It looks more modern. It's got that more RSI looking thing. But the way I don't know how anyone can tell me that is not better value than that. It's just, and I haven't even gone to, like, physically it's about 3 times the size from above. But if you start to rotate them and go side on, it gets even more. It gets even more interesting.
Even if you ignore the cargo capacity, like where the boxes are on the Orion,
the
ship is double the size.
I would say it's 6 times the size, right? And the reason I don't know if I can push this to the front, or it is in the front. Look, 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, and then
Yep.
you can take the cargo off both those two and easily, 6 times the size, right?
Yep.
And this I would say is close to getting to twice the size. Look.
Yep.
It's crazy. And I know that's only from side on. That's why I wanted to show that, because it's probably not twice the size, right? Because obviously it's a little bit more, I don't know, what's the word, mangly than the other two. Because here these guys are fatter than it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just interesting, you know. Man, we got some good value back in the day.
I think it's going to it'll come down to role and what we're doing and what people want.
And they did say everything was an increase over time, didn't they? So, you know.
Yeah. And I can imagine, you know, a lot of people, maybe people who are going, yeah, I'm not going to be going in flying those big capital ships. I do think the Orion is seen as that org type base ship.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like the Javelin or the Idris or even the Kraken. But I still think a small group of friends would still be able to run them.
You know, we talk about this going up. The other way it could do is they strip the capital component out of it, make it a large, and then build something above it.
Yep, they could do that as well and get the price down. So yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously that would be space locked as well, so the Reclaimer can still go down to planet. Yeah.
And if I did that to Reclaimer and took stuff out, then I could see it staying the same price because it wouldn't have the power to do those components. So you'd have that power management issue that you'd struggle with more.
Yeah.
Nana Brits has a question. Which of the following military ships do you think have the potential to be the best income earners? Perseus, Polaris.
Polaris, because it's bigger and it'll cost more to run, but you'll also earn more. Really quickly, there's a first-time chatter over there. So, Jonah INF says, I personally don't go for capital-sized ships. Too big for me and the people I play with to crew the way we are intended. Yeah, but you can struggle through with a really big ship and earn things underneath really quickly. Like in most MMOs, if you take a really powerful character, like say in WoW, say you take a level 60 character and go into a level 20 area, you just smash everything. It's kind of a similar situation to that, where if you have a much bigger ship, the amount of money you're earning on that ship, yes, you have to pay for the things to run there, but the amount of money you're earning is so much greater that you can take that money and very quickly buy the ship behind you. So essentially, you might not like the Capital X ship, right? That does, let's just say the Orion, like in that example, and the Aristrata. You can take the Orion there, do a couple of missions, maybe in an hour or two, and very quickly then go earn an Aristrata. So instead of buying both or just buying your preferred one, buy the bigger one because you get both in a very short space of time. That's the whole theory that we operate on here. Well,
but I would still say, you know, if you know you have no intention of going that big, don't go that big.
Yeah, do what you want.
Go as big as you are comfortable with your group doing.
But we are trying to get you the best bang for your buck, the best value for your dollar spent. Or you just do what you want. You know, don't listen to us at all. We're just trying to help. You know, just trying to give you some advice. But if you, you know, some people don't like to be advised, Algared. You know, so don't do what we say. It's that simple. You know, we're not telling what to do. We're just trying to help.
But Slave Gunner, do you think? Do you get the 600i Best in Show skin if you have a 600 touring version? I
no,
do not believe so.
It's only on the Explorer.
Yeah. Gay Goose, what are your thoughts on the Reclaimer's cargo grid being increased? That'd be nice of you. Seems like a lot of wasted space and could possibly be OP if they do. Could solve.
So back in the day, it actually had the biggest amount of cargo of any ship in the game, and then they changed it to be specialty cargo. So for the scrap and stuff like that. So that actual cargo grid is pure cargo. So if they're making it bigger, then maybe they're modifying it slowly. I don't know. We'll have to see what comes down the pipe.
And they said, could a hangar solve this issue?
It might also be something to do with now. Apparently, it can use bigger boxes. You can always chime in, Lemming. You don't have to ask, man. What do you want?
So the 600i question that was just answered. The 600i Touring, the 600i Executive, and the 600i Explorer are all the same ship. If you had any or all three of them in your hangar, then you got the skin. You did not get the skin if you got a Warbond. I'm sorry, if you got the 600 touring CCU because there wasn't a Warbond for the vested shell.
That is a great distinction. You are actually correct.
Yeah.
I meant as in buying it, but yeah, you're right. If you actually did have it, you could have got away with a touring one. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yep.
Yep. Boss Cube, any chance of a heavy hauler? We answered that one.
Yep.
Earlier. That was the
Yep,
heavy
that
hauler
was
from
the
Crusader.
New chatter.
Chris has a question. The freelance and the connies feel expensive and overpriced next to the new Zeus Mark IIs and Crusader Spirits. Is
So
there
it's
any benefit?
because the Zeus stats have been reworked and none of the other ships have. That's why. They seem
Yep.
stronger than they should be. And that's because it's very disingenuous of them to do so.
And David goes, so is there any benefit to the freelancers or connies over those two?
Eventually, everything will get a rework and be brought up to a gold standard, and they'll be essentially the same. Just the Freelancer is one of the original ships, and so it just hasn't aged so well. But they will get around to giving it a rework, and it'll be heaps better. It'll get more functionality. They'll snazz them all up to about the same level. And they actually talked about that SysCon, didn't they? Bringing everything else up to it's going to be a huge monumental task, but they have to do it because they have to all be roughly the same as in quality.
Yep. So we'll do that. Are they overpriced in comparison? Well, some of them are, but I need, they'll get reworked, and they'll be in the position they were supposed to be in comparison. When do you think? This is Stragus says. When do you think AI blades and NPC crew will be introduced into the game? Not soon enough.
After Squadron
How long
42.
do you think they will be balanced before NPC crew for non-combat ships?
They've already an AI blade is essentially just an NPC that's invisible, and it's a like a module, isn't it, Agrid? So really, it's the same thing. It's just that you're not seeing the AI part of it. So it's already kind of there if you think about it. It's just not implemented because, again, Squadron 42 over Star Citizen. They can literally take the turret AI off something in Squadron and smack it into an AI module and bang. So it'll be after Squadron 42 when they decide to get round to it. Yeah.
The A and K says, do you know if there will be a Drake mining ship? I hope there's not a Drake mining ship. Because mining is not Drake. I'd rather say Grey Cat mining ship.
Yeah.
No, I could see
Outland, Grey Cat, yeah.
But I could cope with more Drake salvagey type stuff. I could see because salvage and repair are kind of two sides of the same coin. I could see even a Drake repair ship or a tow truck. But yeah, I hope not to see a Drake mining ship. But never say never.
I do think you'll possibly see another profession besides salvage from Drake, though. And the reason I say that is it seems to be some of them. So I'll give the example of Aegis, right? You've got a repair and you've got a salvage, right?
Yeah.
But then you go into Anvil, and Anvil have got a repair, but they don't have the salvage. And then you go into Drake, they've got a salvage, but then they don't have. You can see what I mean? There's almost like they do two each, and they all overlap with each other in different ways.
I could easily see them having repair. Because repair and salvage are opposites of the same coin. 100% could see them having salvage. Could they have another profession beside that? Yeah. But yeah, I could see them giving every profession, every company kind of two main profession arcs.
It was so Lemming's asking who were the other ones. It was RSI, Argo, and Misk, because they were the other manufacturers that already had miners. Lemming. Yeah. Right, next question. Old Lemon says the dev team did mention that size 1 and size 2 components will be interchangeable out in space, while size 3's components will be lost and your ship could be dead in space and needed to be taken back to a station to repair. Do you think that the dedicated repair ships will be able to repair or replace size 3 components out in space? I don't remember reading anything about size 1 and size 2's being interchangeable, do you?
I think you could actually take them out. Is the idea. Whereas size 3 are bigger, you need it.
Too big. Yeah.
Too big.
Okay.
So I think that's what the idea they're picking up.
But they showed them repairing it on the floor too. So
yeah,
in space to on floor is no different to me. But yeah, I think you're right. Unless you had like a really big tractor beam, how are you going to get the? And that's the other thing. Some ships are physically so, like the components are so large. How are you going to get them out of the ship to repair them? Like you could, maybe that's the disadvantage to size 3. It can only be repaired in place.
Have you seen the size of a cooler on the, I think it's the mall? Like, it's literally exposed underneath a ship. It's this massive, great big thing.
Someone snip that image, please. I could have a lot of fun with that. Right. You'll be back in a sec, don't worry. Grim Fandex says, Algared, do you think we will get a capital drone ship? I still want my Queen Bee ship and Angry Bees. Thanks.
I hope we don't get a capital drone ship because you'd need multiple people running those drones. So would I like to see something like a ship that's got a crap ton of snub ships? Yeah. I always thought of having my Javelin loaded with P-52s. Or my Idris loaded with P-52s and having, calling the hive and the swarm.
Algared, your camera's gone fully black on my end. I don't know if you can see it. You might have to do a restart, bud. As in restart the camera.
Yeah.
Nova A42 says, when are we doing the game pack giveaway? Next week, mate. Next week, because we just too tired to do it this week. We need a bit of a breather. We didn't get a day off because of the way they did the sale. Angelo Nicholson says, question, what price do you expect the whole D to raise to? Another $100? Algared?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Nova A42 says, thank you for answering. Yep. John Paul Boyer says, question, do you think we will see another ship from Kruger? Algared definitely hope so. Algared?
I want another ship from Kruger.
Which, it'd be funny, a gun that's just got a ship attached. That'd be funny.
Hey, strange, that.
Yeah. You know what's going on with the camera? You got no idea.
Well, it just seemed to have died.
Let's hope that's not permanent.
Yeah.
Jika Boom TV says, question, is it stupid to buy an Origin complete pack just to get the 890 jump with LTI? Algared, I'll let you answer that one. You're back.
It's back. I'm alive. Is it better to buy an
Origin complete pack to get an 890 jump?
Well, it is the only way to get an Origin 890 jump with LTI these days. But what is the Origin complete pack worth?
Too bloody much. It's like over $2,000.
Right. And then what ships of value in the 890 jump in that pack?
Probably
you got the
890 jump, the 600i, and probably the 400i, and all the rest are junk because they're just all small, multiple. You get multiple 300 series, multiple 100 series, the M50, the X85, like all those little small things that you want to try and get rid of. But you could upgrade into that pack though too, couldn't you?
You could upgrade into that pack, and that's one of those cases where
this is one of those rare ones we were talking about. Yeah, let's have a look at it. We'll go look at it for him.
But a lot of the ships in that pack, I would hate.
Can we even open it on the site?
You should be able to open it on the site.
Let's see if I can go have a look. Origin complete back. Is it available?
It's always available for subscribers, I think.
Possibly.
Oh, not subscribers, the high end town. The Sherman pack.
There we go. Praetorian Digital. Nope, that's not it. It's not there. They must have taken it off.
Oh, it must have gone.
Yeah. But yeah, you essentially want to work out how many ships are in the pack, because that's how many ships you'd be dedicating yourself to, and you want to be able to upgrade them. If you really wanted you'd have to really want an 890 jump though to do that.
M50. How many hundreds are there? 4?
There's no accounting for taste. There's multiple people that have one in chat. Oh my god, that's. I would hate it because they just don't do anything. And here's the weird thing, Algared, right? buy an Origin complete pack, right? They don't give you the extra ships as they come out, do they?
No.
Then how is it complete? They lied to me.
Because they update it.
Yeah. So you can buy an
So-
update to it, can you?
Oh, I imagine you have, well, like others pack have updates. I don't think the others do. They just bring out a new version of that pack.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Which also stuffs you because you can't CCU upgrade.
Yeah. But you look at the complete pack. You've got the 890 jump. You've got the 600i. Both 600i's. You'll have 400i. You'll have the 300s. You'll have the 100s. You'll have the M50 and an 85. And the G12s. So you'll have all of those in that pack.
Yeah.
The G12s are just filler. They're just a lot of them are just adding fluff.
Yep.
The 85X, well, that gives you a second one for your 890 because you get one with the 890 anyway. It's a tough one because there's a lot of those ships you'd want to CCU or use CCUs on. But if you were someone who knew I want 15 ships and you got that pack, you get your 890 with LTI.
Right. Algared, we've got a bit over a page and a half here. So I'm going to rapid fire these because even if I rapid fire them, I don't think we're going to get it through them in 40
and
minutes.
my voice is going.
Yeah, and I'm starting to fade because of my sleep. So yeah. Norse Peak says, question, do you believe that the Perseus should get a better AA armament to screen torps, as in only has 2 and only 1 is effective? Gotta have a weakness?
Do you believe it?
It's basically got no AA. It's basically it's weak to fighters.
Well, Perseus does have AA.
Just not enough.
It's got 2 though, but could it use more? Yeah, but it's a smaller ship.
Yeah. Pit Pendragon says, "What? Wow, that is big. Thank you for answering my question." Yeah, you're welcome.
We also missed a couple at the top. There's Nova 42.
They're leave them. They've all been answered. Trust me.
Okay.
Pitts Pendragon, series style says, question, what do you think about the F Mark II? When is it? Rumors are possible. Will it be available? So it's meant to be an event. We've talked about it a bit earlier in the stream, but yeah, it'll either be an F7A or upgrades to the Hornet series.
Yep.
This Mean War says, who do you think will be the ship manufacturer for the medium salvage ship? Algared?
I'd like to think maybe, since I don't think it's going to be Drake because they've already got a whole pile and they're going to try and shift it. I'd hopefully say maybe, I'll go Consolidated. They need more ships and they seem to go everywhere.
I'd agree with you on that one. That'd be a good choice. So I'll put them into base building and salvage.
Yeah, I'd love to see more Grey Cat or Argo, but I can't see them doing salvage.
Baringa629 says, do you think we'll be able to buy the Endeavour modules again anytime soon? Yeah, 6 months from now in Invictus. Norse Peak says, do you believe that cruisers and the other capitals will make an appearance?
Yes.
Yep.
Will they be purchasable by us? Probably not. We'll be able to fly them eventually. There'll be stuff we can fight over.
Yep. Shempasta, good to see you, mate. Shempasta. Do you think CIG will make a Mark II of the Connies or redesign them as Durits or just change the inside Mark II? You and I have talked about this.
I think I'll just keep them as they are and redesign them.
Oh, okay, yeah, and make a Mark II, but yeah. Dr. Reanimator says, considering all the new salvage mechanics, what are being tested at the moment? Do you think that we might get a Crucible during 2024 that could help with repairs in Pyro System and some repair starships?
I haven't heard they're working on the Crucible, so no.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Again, we're moving to that family thing, aren't we, Algared? Family ships. All right, Shiro Styles says, what do you think about the F7 Oh, already answered that one. Pentagon's Carnas Dramas says, hello, do you think that the Hercules family will be one of the largest ships that remain solo friendly after the engineering is introduced?
No. In fact, the company that I think will be most solo friendly, based on what they've said in the past, is Origin. Because even the 890 jump was designed to require less crew. So those ships that are designed to have less crew and be more automated, they're the ones I think will be more solo friendly.
I don't think
And
they're
that,
only one that's like that either. Too, the Liberator's only got 2 crew. You know, there's multiple. And again, we don't have the whole lineup of these
but
ships.
when you're talking the
He
the
says
size of
he does say Hercules family. He doesn't say Crusader.
He
By
does.
the way, yeah.
But that's why I said, that's why I think that when you look at I don't think you'll find that with the Hercules. I think you'll find that it'll be more company related, and companies that are seen as being more automated will do that. And the one company that we've got that's always been told that it's the case, that uses less crew than other ships of its size, is Origin.
Agreed.
And that's where Origin, that's I think is Origin's ace in the hole. It's the one thing
you probably won't see industry or transportation from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess VIP is a form of transportation, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? So you might not see a cargo hauler from
you won't
Origin.
find a mass people.
Yeah, you get what I mean. Yeah. Grim Famdem says the Nautilus mine layer. I think it will have patterns. You send out mines by choice or full manual mine laying. Also, a terrible underrated ship. It is terribly underrated, but I don't think they've worked any of that out for now. They've left it vague for the future.
Yeah.
What do you? Never say never, Algared.
We've always said with the key thing with that is the size of its mines.
Yeah.
The mines will make or break it.
It's the ability to drop all that shit and then go get in another ship. Literally, that's its best feature. Amigo says, should I CCU the Vanguard Sentinel to the Redeemer? I would, but I would say though, if you really do like the Vanguard Sentinel, it is where the Vanguard is at. But I just hate those nose guns with a passion. Agreed?
Yeah. No, I'd say if you love the Sentinel, then stick with the Sentinel. Otherwise, if you love the Redeemer and you've got a Sentinel, then yeah, do a swap.
Yeah, you've got a more scalable ship in the Redeemer. You're kind of going from 2 to 4. They are both long range. You've got the modularity of both of them, believe it or not. And we just don't know the modules for the Redeemer yet. But the ones they're talking about is a short range drop ship and the cargo bay, which also allows you to do bounty hunting. And its stock comes with a long range one, where the Sentinel, Vanguard, you've got the long range one, the E-Warfare, the torpedo one, and the dropship. So there is some overlap there. 2 of them overlap with the other. So bounty hunting versus Sentinel and bombing, that's what you got to pick. Or cargo bounty hunting versus bombing E-Warfare. So yeah, 2 versus 4 players too. I think it's the other part I'd probably go into. Yeah.
So Henny Pen says, Endeavour really worst concept shipping game? I thought it was like the Galaxy. We'd maybe get basic functions.
Maybe we are speaking too quickly.
Maybe we were being sarcastic.
We slow it down. I need that. What's that? That in that Zootopia?
Yeah. We
the sloth. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
We were doing the complete opposite when we said it was the worst concept ship.
Yeah. We were just kidding around before. Zurich Style says, when do you think the CIG will introduce the ability to hire NPCs crew? Didn't we answer this already?
Oh, I thought we have.
Yeah. So, White Lion says, why can't I ever buy the character variations? I mean, the skins? The expedition skins? Yeah, you should have been able to buy them.
I thought I saw it available in the shop, but yeah.
Usually it's at AOE, so yeah. You're an hour and a half too late. Go ahead,
Sorry, let me.
Those skin. I'm sorry, not skins. Those special editions were only for the introduction of the character. They will never be available again outside of packs.
There you go.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Tarina Darkeen says, question, when do you think CIG will implement exploring gameplay loops? Some of us have only one ship and they are dedicated explorers. It'll be after Squadron 42, Algared, I think you'd have to say at the least. And the first version of that you'll get is scanning, and that is needed for that cool gameplay loop. So you'll get some form of scanning sooner rather than later. Chewing through them now.
Right, speculation leaks are pointing to Viresta being in-game within a year. What do you speculate on the time frame for Viresta in-game?
Based on what they've told us, there's not much required. They didn't talk about the underground mining. They didn't talk about anything. There's nothing new on that ship other than the rocks are going to be bigger. They didn't
And
talk, and that's why I was so disappointed, because it clearly looked like to us like it had to be the underground miner, but they didn't ever talk about it. So, is there now two veins of mining, surface mining and underground mining? Because this is where it gets really confusing. Have they split the mining ships all into two?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah,
We hold our breath and wait.
Yeah.
We'll
have to wait and see.
Yep. Just saying is just thanking us for answering their question.
Yep. Illuminous says
Zoomer style.
read it and then skip it. Illuminous says, shouldn't old CCUs be in buyback get a price increase when if you would get it now would cost more? So shouldn't old CCUs in buyback get a price increase when if you would get it now? Or yeah, so if they've gone up, if the ship has gone up in price and they're in buyback, the buyback goes up in price.
Yep.
Long story short. Yeah, it's the same thing twice. Chris N says, what is your take on FPS scanning? To me, it is legitimately wall hack. Would love options that take care of them. Obviously, there will probably be some kind of jammers or something they employ for close range FPS Algared. You'd have to assume that's...
Yeah, well, I know they talked about if you have that, you're going to ping. If you do a ping,
that's true.
Everyone's going to know exactly where you are. So it's going to pluses and minuses with that.
So yeah, so you probably have someone in the group that's counter detecting that someone's scanning, and when they scan, they can probably see exactly where the fuck they are. You know, so it's like, oh, you've just given your position away. Yeah,
he's in that back room behind a box. Blah blah. You know, so.
And they are military scanners too. We are civilians. We do not have the same. We are just plebs. They've used that as well in multiple things, like where we have civilian versions of ships and military versions of ships, so they can explain why it works for single player and why it doesn't work for multiplayer, because you do need different balances for those two games.
Yep.
Next one, Aaron.
That's that one done. Cheesebread. RE NPC crew, are they going to launch in the Aristra's rocks? Will they be able to mine?
Yes, they will be able to mine off the surface, just like
I
they can do right now. No different. Algared. Be exactly the same, won't it?
I expect so.
Yeah.
All right. Borenga 629. Anything on how personal hangars are going to work? No.
Just like the hangar system that we had back in the day. You put your subflare in. You can keep all your stuff in there. There'll be storage rooms. There'll be the elevator for your vehicles. The elevator for your cargo.
But nothing new.
Drones. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing.
Which is how I understood the question was being.
Yeah.
So. Drill frags. How many Endeavour unique module combinations can you make with a master set? In other words, how many Endeavours would you need to make use of all modules at once? 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's what we worked out. It's a lot more than you'd expect.
Yep. Hook 2005. What are you looking forward to for 3.22? Playing.
The salvage stuff for me.
M Walker 300. Do you think we will see a salvage variation of Erastra? No.
It's very clearly moved into separated ships now. We're seeing less and less variants. Well, we're seeing more variants, but the core ship doing less and less. So, and again, the higher you go up a ship, so taking the Erastra, it's a large, not a small, the more niche it becomes. You know, instead of going out like this, it's coming in.
I think it and if you look at RSI don't do salvage. It's one of the branches they haven't gone into, so I couldn't see them doing a variation of a ship to go into something they don't do. Aurelius Indomitus has a question: what is a good coffee to buy for a regular price? Depends what you class as a regular price.
Yes, Cafe Gold. No.
The worst coffee I've ever had was...
It's chocolate. It's chocolate. I just had to say it because I'm going to trigger Algared like crazy.
The worst coffee I've ever had was a coffee called Hag.
Yeah.
It was...
that's not nice to say about your mum. Come on.
That was a coffee name, Hag. Hag coffee. It depends on what you're after. The supplier I like whose coffee I like, they have a one called a blend called their specialty blend, and I don't like it. It's a horrible blend if you're drinking it black, but if you're drinking it as a cappuccino or a latte, it's actually quite a good coffee. But I prefer mine black, so I don't like that coffee. Old Monson says, by the way, can you see my earlier question, or do I need to type it again? Didn't intend to anger the bot with my.
That's right. We would have already
That's okay.
answered. We would have already answered it at this point.
And we did. We'd have
Yeah.
answered it because it was already up there.
Yeah.
So yes, we did answer it. And no, if you put it in again, we didn't see it because we turned off the bot.
Yeah.
And that was the last question.
Okay then. So yeah,
We got there.
we've got the next week, Algared. We're going to be doing all the
We're
pack
going to be doing the
giveaways.
giveaways.
Also, if that person doesn't really answer me with a Fury, we've got that one to give away as well.
Yep.
Thank you for everyone that joined us today. Agrid, you want to say so?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you'd like to be a part of the ship giveaway for next week, or the pack giveaway for next week, if you've got a starter pack that you would like to give away as part of the help those who might need a pick-me-up, there is a section on our YouTube called Ship Giveaways. And if you indicate the ships you're willing to give away in that pack, in that thing, we will actually use those in that stream and give them away. And
so this is for people that are the people we're giving the ships to are people that are like need a bit of a pick me up, or or someone that's just a little bit less fortunate, hard times, Christmas, that type of thing. And we also do this after Invictus as well. So I got a few ships there from CIG to give away as well.
This grew out of Jaden. So one of the guys gave it an F7C with an F7A upgrade, I think. He bought it for his friend. His friend had died, and it was just an idea to thinking back of what would have been good to help his friend down the track, and so the giveaway kind of grew out of that. So if you know someone who's in that position and would benefit from a ship, and that's also something to consider for next week. Bring them forward. We will look at giving them a pack if we can. So yeah.
All right then. I can't find anyone to raid on YouTube, but we're going to raid Moist Noodle on Twitch. Haven't raided him in a while. So share the love around. Thank you to everyone.
Say goodbye to Twitch.
Yep. So Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next weekend. We will have a show for you guys on the weekend as well as usual. Right. Thanks for joining us. I'm off to get noodles. See you, Twitch. Oh, Twitch is gone. Cool. Right. As for YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And thank you for going.
Thank you for helping us make that 16K.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the people that went the extra mile on the credits on Patreon at the end of the video. Right. With that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here.
Catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.